of Veseth, one or the other.
There's some things near the town or in the town. There are two things people wanted to do. We were going that way. We got manhandled. It was great.
Cool.
Basically, there was a small town northeast of Veseth that Paige was able to find out was where Dolan used to live. So as you rush up, why is this? Is the video still playing in the background? That was really disconcerting.
Somebody just played it.
Okay, I'm just gonna bounce out of there.
Yeah, we'll just have Jonah recap us.
Yeah, you guys were heading. That was in a town just northeast of Veseth, which Phil's character wanted to go and visit. And then I'm just looking at my notes, or trying to find my notes, I guess. What was in Veseth? Why were you guys going to Veseth?
We were going to talk to, looking for Bjorn's order, and we're also going to talk to Ophi's people.
Bjorn's order and, yeah, Aoife's people, that's right. Did you just say Eofi?
Yeah, I read it like you do.
He was trying to make sure you understood.
Oh, I appreciate it. Everybody knows English is difficult for me.
Among other things.
Among many, many other things.
Like, I tell people I speak English and bad English, but apparently Jonah only speaks bad English.
That's really the only one I understand, too, apparently. Gotta dumb it all down to my level.
I have no words.
Yeah, so I believe you guys were going to Veseth to meet up with Bjorn's order and to meet up with some of the high druids that Aoife would know before you were waylaid by an emissary of Orcus, seemingly having tracked you. He gave you an ultimatum to return, to deliver the item north to whatever the heck that city is called. Port Jakku. To deliver the item north to Port Jakku within a month, or he would be back to kill another. From there, he left with Aoife's corpse. The fog cleared, and you guys are now all alone in the middle of an empty valley in a very dreary morning. You're about half a day's march from the city.
Are there any tracks from the big guy? Or from anything?
No. They have come and gone without a trace.
Basically sunk into the fog and then teleported away, the little bastards.
Phantasms!
Okay, so yeah, he word of pained Aoife right in front of us. He paralyzed us all, slapped Ephraim's around like he was a fucking rag doll, and now here we are. Yes. Everybody in the right mindset?
And then he word of killed Aoife.
Yes, word of killed Aoife. Yes.
So,
fuck.
You guys all feel the spell holding you in place fade. Your limbs are once again your own. What do you do?
So Nohai turns and just, like she did at the door, just starts hurling magic at this tree over here.
That tree is very dead in a few moments. A variety of spells tearing it to shreds.
I mean, she's angry. She's doing the equivalent of like a fucking angry guy punching a wall, but magically. So that's what she's doing for the next couple minutes.
A very talkative bunch.
All right.
I can't talk through what my character is doing because he's not saying anything. Well,
So now I guess done with her fit, turns around and looks to Ephraim's. Sort of walks up to him. Ephraim's, I am sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't think. I didn't know what to do.
Not your fault. Not your fault.
And this should be like particularly disconcerting because Nohai has only ever showed like anger in front of you guys.
Yep.
Rarely, if ever.
There we go. That's right.
There you go.
Ephraim's basically does the let you cry into the shoulder while patting your hair.
All right, so she cries for a minute and then suddenly remembers what's happening, sort of pulls away and looks at the others. I'm sorry you had to see that. But hopefully now you will understand the full breadth of what we are up against.
They have her soul. It does not belong with them. We need to get it back. If anything, it belongs to Sylvanas.
I agree.
Bjorn, how do I kill that thing?
First, we need information. We are not strong enough. Don't know how to find it. And no, we don't know how to kill it right now. We have a lot of work to do and a lot of research.
In little time.
But we don't have any. Correct me if I'm wrong, but guys, I don't think we have any different leads than the ones we set out with from last city.
Well, we know there's something in Port Jakku now.
True. But do we want to divert there now?
No.
Or do we want to follow up on what we have? Find a new plan.
I want to find the priest and beat information out of him.
Which priest is that?
Yeah, out of character what priest?
The one from the town.
Oh, the Rakshasa?
The Akasha, yeah.
Ah, yes. Well, what do we do now?
Nohai, do you have any contacts from your former affiliations that we can rough up for information?
Sadly, no. The agents always came to me.
Even the one that you were going to deliver the item to?
Correct. I was given a location.
And a time?
Well, yes, technically. However, I think that if we were to go there now, we would not encounter my contact so much as another group of demons.
I think we should proceed with what we came here to do, because we can gather information, hopefully from my order contacts, and perhaps perhaps Isaac can learn something as he takes care of what he wanted to take care of.
About this point, Isaac, your memory returns to you.
Like all of it?
No, the memory where he forcefully forgot that he held the item.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
He weaponized his own oldness. But that comes back to you as you now remember what you're carrying, and the significance of what just occurred.
Okay.
We should
Isaac's
move.
just staring at the floor.
Isaac, we should move.
Old man. Where are we right now?
I think we're on our way to Veseth.
Okay, good. You're with us.
Okay.
Well,
I think we set off, Jonah.
we have a time limit. We should get this done as soon as possible.
Alrighty.
By the way, did we get XP for our last session?
Technically speaking, only Ephraim's fought something last session. He died.
They all encountered something. They all had to make a saving throw.
Wait, that isn't like the only thing we did last session.
Guys, it took us
Wasn't
like
it?
3 hours last session to figure out how to walk the city and then get horses and then ride across the country.
Did it?
Did maybe 2.5
If I recall right, we started that session
in the swamp.
in the swamp.
With Acta.
Yeah. No, that was the beginning there.
Sure,
And
but
mostly-
you don't roleplay XP.
Roleplay XP. Roleplay XP. Okay, I can get you some roleplay XP.
I
But I'll have
mean-
to figure out how much to give you. Hold on.
We'd probably have to roleplay a lot better if we expect
that's a
There
good
was
point.
a lot of typing, with very little roleplay.
Here's the
About
thing:
to
is
give
how
you
do you
3 XP.
how do you want us to do our actions? I tend to type my emotes out. and
Right.
Expect people to read them. I mean, I can say Ephraim's does this, Ephraim's does that.
No, that's fine.
What's the group preference? Do we need to be stage direction theater?
I think for emotes it makes more sense to type it in, unless it's something that's like an action that's directly connected to like
I think it
bigger
depends on
action.
whether you're the center of attention or not. If you're doing something that is just of side importance, you know what I mean? Then I think the
Then-
emotes are appropriate.
But if the spotlight is on those characters, you should describe
You should
what they're doing.
narrate what's happening. Yeah.
Okay. That actually
Seems
makes
fair.
that makes a lot of sense. How dare you?
What?
I thought that's
Yeah.
what we had been doing.
Logic has no place
Basically.
in roleplay.
Also, Jonah,
Yes.
at some point I'd like to know what the magic item Acta gave me is.
Yeah. No, I never mentioned that to you guys.
Thought you gave him a thing that revives his face.
I think it's
Yes.
a parapet of wound closure, but I don't know. Parapet? How do you pronounce that? Periapt?
Periapt?
Is it periapt?
Is that how you
Periapt.
say that? Oh.
I mean, there's no
Only
vowel
one
Priasm?
to the second P and the T.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it is that. But it's not.
It's not a periapt. It's
not arcane based. It's
phylactery.
nature based. So
Phylactery.
there isn't a type of magic associated with it that you normally recognize.
Is it magical at all, or is it just a very effective natural remedy?
It does have magic to it. It's just not. It looks like it's still living. There's some vinery growing around it that's constantly writhing and twisting. Every once in a while, a small flower will bloom. This is still a very alive amulet. But
And
yeah,
I'm attuned to it?
You did attune to it.
Yeah. Cool.
The bird still hasn't dropped off mine yet.
What?
She said she was going to have a bird drop it off.
Oh, that's right. Should have a bird drop that off. What did you ask for again? Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. We're good. I have notes. And then Nohai, yours was +1 wand. I don't think I ever told you.
Okay.
Is that like a divine focus or no? I mean arcane focus or something.
Works as such, but again, also has that same tendency to actually. It's green.
Give a +1 to my spells?
To give a +1 to your spells, but also feel alive. It doesn't. It's not your normal wand. It wasn't manufactured by a mage somewhere. It was literally grown in front of you.
Okay.
Is it +1 caster level?
Wait. Fucking Acta can grow fucking +1 wands out the wazoo?
Not out the wazoo. It probably takes like a certain level of energy to do that, which she had plenty of since we made her forest alive again.
It requires a certain
Some
amount
fun
of
fact,
roleplay leading up
Vitality,
to
that's
it.
why.
Fun fact, Jonah.
Mhm.
As long as we're talking about my inventory here, I still have a small copper key, a fist-size blue quartz and ruby, and a bag o' money. Like, it literally just says bag o' money. So,
What the hell was the bag of money from?
Was that from the
Um,
Goblin Cave or from the
No,
bandit?
that
Or
was
the-
from when we killed all those people in
The bar?
the bar, yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
criminals are not people, right?
Criminals
I don't know.
are people.
Roll
they just
me
made they made bad choices.
roll me
Was it
like
from the
3d10.
Was that from the chest we set on fire?
It was from the one we didn't set on fire.
I forgot Nohai had all this weird stuff. All right, you find there's 17 gold in that bag of
Okay.
money.
And how much did I sell my ruby and other thing for?
I didn't give you a
Wait.
gold cost associated with that.
Nope. It
Well,
just says
shoot.
it's fist size, which is fucking huge.
It is pretty big. I remember
He
writing.
meant halfling's fist size.
Well, I guess it depends on if you're my size fist or someone else's size fist.
Can we get that in metric?
No. Listen, metric units are amazing, but like somebody was using a metric tape measure the other day, and you can really fuck up building a bus if you use metric when you're supposed to use imperial.
I thought it was called standard, but whatever.
Whatever. Listen
It is
again.
also called Imperial.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, I think there's actually a difference between standard and imperial.
Not in length measurements.
Guys.
Oh,
guys.
I pulled that off a random table. All right, shoot. How much does a ruby cost in D&D?
Depends on the ruby.
I
Oof.
think it's about 100 gold.
Turns out
It's
suddenly
fist
we're
size, so
super
probably
rich.
like a couple thousand.
So about that post on gold economy again.
Yeah, don't worry about gold economy. It works out. I pulled that from a treasure table. I don't know. Random treasure. Where is gemstones? Here we go. There was a ruby, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Just a regular ruby?
Well, a fist-sized ruby.
Well, right, but I didn't like give it a description on top of it.
I mean, I assumed I assumed that it was cut because we found it at a thieves guild.
Okay. And you sold that?
Yep, and the
Okay.
quartz, the blue quartz.
Oh, blue quartz. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, why don't you roll me I don't know. A general charisma
40
check
d20.
as you tried to haggle.
Do you mean like whatever version of charisma based skill I would have wanted to try to use?
Please not intimidate again.
Burning
the guy
'Cause it would've
shop
definitely
down
been
to sell him
intimidating.
something seems counterproductive.
You most certainly can use whatever you'd like. Just keep in mind you were in a capital city with plenty of guards around. And you got
Yeah,
the
but I'm
impression
selling a
pretty
stolen ruby. I mean,
you got the impression pretty quickly that like the ruby was worth quite a big deal, so you had to go to a nice jeweler which necessarily has guards in it.
listen, intimidation can be subtle.
It can be. I just want you to be aware.
And in this case, let's say it was.
All right. Going back and forth with the conversation there, and that is a pretty good intimidation roll. The quartz sold for 50 gold.
You're killing me here, bud.
I believe is the quartz I gave you, so we'll go with that. The ruby sold for this much.
Well, that's definitely amount of money.
That is definitely an amount of money. That is the only ruby I can find on this table that isn't fancy. So I'm going to say that that's what I gave you.
Sweet. So, I have a bank account, you guys.
Probably
In,
inside
in
that
Delphin
city.
Car.
Yeah. You probably have what, a writ of payment or something?
Yeah, is there a branch of the bank in Veseth? Like, medieval banking used to work where, yeah, they would, like, write you almost like a deed to a house, but it was for a certain amount of money.
You could get them like in smaller donations too.
They gave you that for a temporary thing, but in the world with magic, when you can message people quite easily, they gave that to you temporarily if you needed to immediately travel to a city within like a day's period or so. But otherwise, they just keep those things magically updated.
So basically,
Question: Do they
they
have
spread-
a magic mouth telephone infrastructure system?
I don't know, Phil. I don't think Isaac can fully comprehend the Magic Mouth telephone system.
Let's say the banks do, but that they're jealously guarded.
There is a jealously guarded secret behind how the banks communicate, and it might have something to do with logic switches and Magic Mouth spells. Maybe.
Or just Jew magic in general.
Guys, what? Why?
Jonah sent me this fucking huge document about
Alright.
how to build telephone lines with Magic Mouth.
I had a really wonderful read at work one day. It was something else. I'll throw it up there. At some point, you guys should read this because it's just absolutely fucking hilarious. But you can make logic switches with Magic Mouth.
Cool.
Fun.
Okay.
Wait until
So,
you
yeah.
get a hold of an improved Magic Mouse.
I don't want to say that I'm, like, excruciatingly rich, but I'm
Just,
pretty
you know,
fucking rich.
It's like
It's those
on a
17
scale.
gold that did it, right?
Uh-huh.
like, 10 to
5,000?
10,000. How much gold would you say Nohai has?
I would say she has 5,200?
Okay, that's pretty fucking rich.
Yeah, it's not, like, excruciatingly rich, but we could buy some shit, you guys. We could buy a boat.
I'm on a boat.
Can you buy the soul of?
No, not with that little gold.
There you go then.
Could probably buy a lot of information, though. And we're not staying in
Yeah.
shitty inns anymore.
Hell yeah. We rolling now, dog.
This is what happens. It becomes rockstar lifestyle. You're burning ends down, and you don't care because you can pay for it.
Exactly.
No. Here you go. It's fine. We'll build you another one. It'll be okay.
A better one.
No, we actually in Cormier, we actually ended up in a court before the magistrate. We had to get a barrister to argue our case because we were we were playing with a deck of many things in the penthouse, and things went bad. So
I don't see how
bringing,
things could possibly get bad with a deck of
so
many
for bringing
things.
a minor artifact, into the city and messing with it inside a populated area, they were very angry with us. So we got sent on a quest to deal with cleaning up our mess.
Cool.
All that being said, you guys are on your way to Veseth?
Yeah.
Alrighty. The day moves on slowly. For some of you, it still hasn't quite sunk in what all has happened in the morning. But as you guys approach Veseth,
User joined your channel.
your minds are quickly distracted by what you see before you.
What? Do we make it there in like one day?
We
were only half a day's march from it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. The walls of Veseth are large and towering, made of some sort of black stone that none of you quite recognize. The city itself gives this sort of menacing feel to those that are outside it. I'll show you the little map I had made. Whoop. The ground around it, as you guys approach the city, trees pretty much cease to be seen. There's the occasional grove here and there, but it's like driving through North Dakota or something. There's really nothing. You can tell that there once was some sort of remnant to a forest here, as there are occasionally in like a small grotto or something, there's a lot of tree stumps or bramble built up. But overall, it's very flat and dry land. The gate to the city is open, but as you can see from the various roadways, it all leads into one. All the roads around Veseth lead to this one road.
Where are the fields?
The fields are on the outside of the city, and as you get a little bit closer, you can kind of see them sparsed all around. But again, this is a much... this city makes enough food for itself, but it doesn't really export any like in Revlin. So the food is... The fields aren't nearly as large. As you approach the city walls, you can see the gate is open. There are a dozen or so guards milling about the gate, checking various people as they enter, checking people as they leave, all dragonborn and adorned in various amounts of armor. It does give a very depressing feel to the whole area. But as you approach the gates, one of the guards calls out to you, "Hold there, travelers. State your business."
We are here to visit.
Visit whom?
Hello, yes, my grandson. We've come a long way to come and see him.
You are all visiting this man's grandson?
That are here with me. They, how do you call it? They're acolytes.
Ah, I didn't see you for the religious folk.
Well, we are. Yea, God.
Amen.
Do you need me to roll
I would love a
I need to
deception
roll.
check.
I need to roll a deception to keep Ephraim's face straight because mine totally wasn't.
Yeah, for
she's
real.
not trying to deceive.
I would
she's
love
she's
a
like talking
deception
down to
check.
him.
From all of you, please.
Are we doing like a group check then, or?
Yeah, just all of you guys send me a deception check.
God damn it. Guys, you know this is something I can't do with my character.
Well, so like I was hoping to cover for people here.
Yeah, I know. I'm
yeah,
not
wow.
sure why-
that
I'm not
worked
sure
out.
why we're rolling a check. I'm not trying to deceive anybody. The old
We
man's
just balance out
wheeling-
that max
weaving
in
his
that
tail
manual
here.
there.
and I'm being a snarky bitch.
I guess it should be more like for Ephraim's and Paige to keep their composure. To not be like
This
This
is
is
more.
basically what it was.
Yeah, this is more for a composure side of things.
fucking
but
yay
luckily,
god.
those that were the main topic of conversation rolled really high on their deceptions. Bjorn, your face cracks and you have to like immediately turn away. But luckily you don't draw too much attention.
Don't mind these hooligans. They are still young. Given time, I'm sure they'll learn.
Dirt is young compared to you, sir.
Well, you're welcome to stay within the city, but I must warn you, the guard here is very strict. There will be no trouble from any of you.
You have
Wouldn't
you have-
expect trouble from a man of the cloth.
you have a
Not so much
pamphlet-
from you, Father, but from the others.
You have a pamphlet on your laws.
Typical Dragonborn.
Don't be stupid. What was
Hmm.
that?
Ah, he is insolent. I shall punish him later.
See that you do. Be off now.
Walk over.
on
I
your
walk
way.
over and I backhand him.
Is Roderick hot?
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's super sexy.
What?
As sexy as a paladin can be.
Come.
Apparently,
That's
if
super
I feel like the
classist.
arrogance and racism would detract from the overall sex appeal. I'm just saying. I don't.
he has to be very physically attractive because his personality is not.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
what
man,
I'm saying. Like, he's like
Women
the
are-
opposite of your character. He's got a high caw. So.
You know, he's
he's a
got
cock.
that chiseled jaw. But he's not like so overly buff that he's not relatable, you know? He looks like a handsome people's man. And then his personality kind of throws things to shit.
Yeah,
but,
and then
you
he
know.
opens his mouth, and you're just like, "Am I still attracted?" Yes.
Chicks dig being treated like shit. I'm probably hot as fuck.
The guard waves you inside, and you guys make it through the gate without issue. Upon entering the city, the sort of depressing atmosphere is only elevated at this point. You enter in on a slightly weller-off area of the city.
A
can
slightly
see-
weller off area.
If you look at
Yes,
the way if you look
um,
at the way he's got the building set, you can definitely tell where the slums are, where the just above the slums
No,
are.
no, yeah, I get what he was trying to say. It was just the grammatically.
Oh, how much did the flail snail sell for? And did
You
we ever
buried
split
that
any
shit.
gold?
We
Yeah.
Buried it
Buried
outside that town, man.
You guys
Yeah, that's
buried
right.
it. I don't know why. I mean, Paige would have been like, "Come on, we've already got this
Told
horse
us to
here."
bury it, man.
No, Paige.
Don't
Didn't.
worry, we're already rich. Don't worry.
Paige didn't tell you to bury it.
You can
No,
see
no,
the
I thought,
buildings
Isaac
are painted white. They were painted at one point to give the appearance that this was a nice area of the city, but over time and with weather damage, it has gotten a little in disrepair.
People aren't
Um,
taking care of their shit.
People aren't taking care of their shit. There isn't a lot of people out and about either. You can see that those that are on the roads
Well,
are
it's daytime,
moving
right?
with purpose. They're not moving just to sort of hang out or wander around town. They're specifically going to a shop and then leaving.
It's probably mid-afternoon.
It's about mid-afternoon, 4 or 5.
So I don't know. We never really talked about this, but I always pictured that Veseth was kind of like a barrio, where it's like during the day, it's like kind of like you're saying, or like a ghetto, Then, like at nighttime, the gangs come out.
Yes, it is. It's Veseth is more of this culture of at night it gets bad, and at day it doesn't get much better.
Gotcha.
It's
I can see why she left.
very depressing. But the other thing that immediately catches your eye is the amount of gnomes. There is a large population of gnomes here. Gnomes, humans, the occasional
Elves,
no elves,
right? No.
not in Veseth.
Okay.
There's the occasional dwarf that you guys see, but for the most part, it seems to be a population of elves and gnomes running.
You just said there were no elves.
Sorry, humans and gnomes. Traveling and going between shops and such, but for the most part, streets are very quiet as compared to Brevlin or some of the other cities that you have been in.
Because if Ephraim sees a freaking elf, he's going to talk to them.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is no elves.
Yeah.
Have any of you ever noticed that all the houses of a particular architecture always seem to point in the same direction?
I'm not sure what he just said.
I mean,
He says if
He's
a
complaining
house
about
is
the map.
built the same way, it's built completely the same way. Like, if the back
Same
of it's facing
direction.
north, all the houses that are built in that architectural style are also have their backs facing north.
I'm just
yes.
giving Jonah shit in character. Don't worry.
If Jonah could find houses
Oh,
that
oh,
had
with the-
multitude of perspectives, hey, this is the exact same architecture but at a 45-degree angle. This is the same architecture but at a 90-degree angle. Don't you think you would use those?
Oh, absolutely. And this map making program is awesome.
Listen, I
But-
spent 20 minutes just trying to get the shadows on the fucking walls to not overlap and create lines everywhere, alright?
Good.
You can just sort of deal with your houses.
You guys
Actually,
ever
the
feel like
shadows are
yes,
really well
with
done.
our many houses
Yeah.
because we are rich.
you guys ever feel like we use bullying for good?
I feel we used it exclusively for good.
What?
I mean, like we got Sheep saying good afternoon. We got Jonah to make the shadows right. Like,
So
good is a really strong word here, bud.
alright, so you know, like all the cars in Brazil now work on sugarcane ethanol, right? And the plants that produce the sugarcane ethanol run off of the burning the plants. They take the sugar out, they burn the plants. The power of the plants that make the ethanol.
Okay.
So it's a very effective system down there. And now, do you know how they got everybody to convert over to ethanol burning cars? The government
bullying.
said, you're going to convert over to an ethanol burning car. Okay, what if I don't want to? Oh, we'll shoot you. Oh, okay. So yes, bullying can be very effective to get stuff done.
I feel like that's a bit over the top. That's not quite bullying at that
No,
point
no, we'll
as much as
shoot you.
threatening.
We'll fucking shoot you.
Okay, let me just send some more demons your way. We'll all be good.
Okay, do we have a map for being in the town?
But that's
Because we don't actually, like our characters don't know where to go in this town.
Exactly.
We kind of burned our guard bridge, so
You're
Yeah.
pretty clueless at this point.
we need to find someone who's gonna take us to an inn.
Yeah. Is perception check for Ephraim's to find somebody that actually looks like they'd be willing to help versus just to tell them to piss off?
Can I smell an inn?
Can you smell an inn?
Actually, with the food and
You know
stuff
what?
like that,
Give
he
me a
might be.
perception check. Ephraim's. Every person
No.
you turn to,
Oh, they do
looks like
not
they
like
am-
the look of me.
they immediately turn away and keep on walking.
That
A
guy
couple
with
of them
all
get
the
this
weapons
very.
on him and the scars and stuff, he looks scary.
They get this little wide-eyed look as they see you, and then it gets wider as they look back at your band of friends, and they keep moving. Paige,
bravely ran away.
you unfortunately can't smell anything.
Can I hear an inn?
The overpowering stench of alleyway refuse and what smells like something akin to sulfur wafts through the air.
Guys, I have a theory that he's artificially inflating my DCs.
No, you're just at the gate and there's no inn within like 300 feet of you.
Artificial, I say.
You do, however, see a small group of gnome children staring at you wide-eyed as they are currently playing with their own cat. You get the impression that they have never
You're about
seen
to
a
get
tabaxi
manhandled by
before.
gnome children.
Alright. Well, I walk up to them.
They
Hey.
stare at you
Hey.
with wider eyes.
Any response with meow, 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 meow.
Well, hey there, buds. I'd have a
Two of them scream and run immediately. One stays behind with the cat, just staring at you.
I see, you're the wise one and the brave one of the group.
That's right.
Do you happen to know where we can get some food around here?
Probably an inn. Are you a cat?
Yes?
She looks down at her pet. Like this cat?
I mean, not exactly, but hold on.
What is
We're-
that check for?
I don't know. Are we? I guess we're kind of related at some point. But
Can you talk to this cat?
oh yes, absolutely I can.
Can you tell me if he likes the name Garnet? Because I can't decide.
All right. Well, let me ask him. Paige kneels down. Goes. Meow, meow, meow.
Cannot believe this.
The cat looks at you strangely. Give me an animal handling check.
God. With advantage because I'm a cat.
I would say with advantage because you're a cat. And with that check, the cat sort of looks at you strangely and responds in the softest of cat meows. You have no fucking clue what it said. But it did respond.
Absolutely, yes. That's a great name.
The little gnomish girl's eyes go wide and she gets a big old smile on her face. And she's like, "Oh, perfect. That's wonderful." Hugs her cat real tight.
Would you be willing to point us to the nearest inn?
"Oh yeah, come on, I'll show you. My mom runs it."
Oh, perfect.
And she takes off running down the street.
All right, well, come along, guys. I found us an inn.
Great.
She as she takes you down the street, you guys can see more of the town unfold before you, and again the same dreary atmosphere sort of picks up. As you guys are kind of looking around, you can see there's a couple of freshly painted wall sides on some buildings, and on others you can see marks and scratches of various gang signs or the equivalents of medieval I'm blanking on the word.
Graffiti.
Graffiti, thank you. And as you guys get a little closer to the center of town, you can see you start to be able to see these giant mounds of dirt past the building, rock outcroppings branching from them. There looks to be there's some sort of large earthen structure towards the center of town. But shortly after a short walk down the main pathway, you guys end up veering off between a few buildings before arriving in front of Timber's Ale House. A rather quiet-looking building, wooden walls, painted white but heavily damaged from weather. The interior is warmly lit. And you can hear brief conversation and a little bit of music going on in the background as the little girl runs on in there. Do you follow?
In we go.
Alrighty.
Into the
Yeah.
inn.
In art, because I couldn't find a fucking map that I liked. As you guys enter, you can see there's already several patrons in there. There is a older gentleman, bit of a beer gut behind the counter, a small band playing near one of the tables, and most of the people within the alehouse they're sitting low in their seats. They seem tired. They seem more of this depressing attitude just seems to fill the room. They all kind of look at you with a mixture of curiosity and wariness, but none rise to approach you. The gentleman behind the bar is currently talking with somebody else there and doesn't seem to have noticed you enter.
Is there a table full of humans?
There is a table full of humans. They appear very tired. There's 3 of them off to the corner. Their arms are covered with soot and their clothes are filthy.
I'm gonna walk towards them.
Okay. They all notice you approach and quiet down their conversation as they watch you come up to them.
I'm gonna.
Paige, you notice the gnomish girl run behind the counter, say something to the older gentleman. But that is the last you saw, as she's shorter than the counter.
Okay.
Roderick, were you about to say something?
I'm gonna put 3 silver down on the table and say, "Friends, may I buy your ears?"
They immediately cover their ears.
Beers or ears? Which one did you say? I'm sorry.
Ears.
Oh,
Like-
ears.
Like I'm gonna pay for their drinks and then they're gonna listen to me.
They all sort of sit back and one reaches for the silver, inspecting it. This'll give you 10 minutes.
I'm just gonna start preaching to them about a loon.
Alright.
You want him to roleplay that?
I would
Please
like...
Oh, yeah,
How
you
do you
have to.
start this
Have you
conversation?
heard about our savior Alun and how he determined that the only true and just race is us?
No, I guess I'll start with, have you ever seen a dragonborn do an honest day's work?
On his day's work, they wouldn't know what that was if it fucked them in the ass.
And yet you see humans
Whoa.
day in and day out do hard, back-breaking work. Is that true?
Yeah. What's your point?
That we are the superior race. We're divine. They're evil. They come from broken origins, and we are given to this planet to purify it.
And they all bust a gut laughing. That's quite a spiel, friend.
Absolutely. It's the truth.
And who's told you this truth?
A
Certainly
loon
not the
him-
Empire.
A loon himself.
And who's this Alun?
The god of gods, the original god. Father of all, creator of everything.
Never heard of him.
It's true, as the other races gained power, they destroyed his temples and killed his followers. But he has come back to reclaim his once forgotten throne.
I don't know, it doesn't sound like too much of a god if the others can just beat the shit out of him.
Well, I believe that the Draken Empire has consorted with demons to gain power quickly. It caught him by surprise, I assure you.
There is another round of laughter from the 3 at the table. These claims sound quite ludicrous to them. They give you your 10 minutes. Why don't you give me a general persuasion check?
1 second, I can definitely do that.
Your words wax eloquently, and you keep them in good spirits. And as the 10-minute mark rolls around, the three stand up to collect their things. Well, friend, you're interesting to say the least. One human to another. I'd watch what you say outside these walls. Not everybody is as open-minded as the rest of us here. See you around. And with that, the three leave.
Alrighty.
The rest of you, as he was giving his religious spiel at the table nearby, unless you wanted to sit in on that.
So I wanted to walk up to the bartender guy and ask if he's the owner.
Okay.
So I do that.
As you walk
the
up,
owner of this fine establishment.
aye, that'd be me down here. And you turn, and just to the left of the bartender is another gnome, just peeking her head above the countertop. The one you had followed in is standing beside her.
Greetings. I am Nohai Oku. And I sort of reach down over the counter and offer my hand.
She wipes off her hand on her skirt and then shakes yours. Pleasure. Forgive me, but you're not a cat.
That is
She looks down at her
true.
daughter.
I am not a cat. My companion is a tabaxi.
Ah, that would
I
make
sort
a
of
lot
wave
more sense.
Paige over.
Tabaxi, we don't get many of your folk around here.
No, we don't tend to come this far south.
Is it true? You speak to cats?
I mean, there's a mutual understanding.
Alright, I won't pry. What can I do you for? Get you a drink?
We require rooms. And also, where is the nearest bank branch?
Rooms I can get you. They'll run you about 3 silver a night, each. And then nearest bank branch, you're probably gonna want to head up the main highway here. There should be one near the entrance to the crafting district, where all the like forges and shit are. I don't go there
Lovely.
much myself.
How many rooms on a floor?
Well, we only have the one floor of this one, and I have 4 rooms available.
Okay.
As I
We
said,
will
we don't
take
get
these
many
4
travelers
rooms.
here.
We will take these 4 rooms.
Fair enough. How many of you are staying?
How many of us are there?
7, 6? Hold on, let me
I think
count.
there's 5 because Aoife's not with us.
No, there's 6.
There's
There's
5.
7 people in roll 20.
Wait, so like, who am I forgetting? Oh yeah, there's 6.
Yep,
There's 6.
but one of them is the GM, so...
Yeah. All right. That'll run you 18 silver. How long you planning on staying?
Let's put 4 days on the books for now.
4 days. Alrighty. Well, that will run you 7 gold, 2 silver.
Alright, so I just give her an even 8. And I say, and that should pay for meals, correct?
Well, it'll get you breakfast. For the lot of you.
Alright, so I give her another gold. And here's dinner.
Fair enough.
And
What
lunch
brings
while
you
we're
into
at it.
town?
Sadly, my dear, it is probably best for you if you simply mind your own business on that regard.
No trouble here, as long as you don't bring any trouble into this place. None of your shady business deals go down here. Bring them across town for all I care.
Understood. And agreeable.
Well, we'll be here if you decide you want a drink or whatnot. Here's keys to your room.
Thank you. And I hand her another gold. Please bring up a bottle of nice brandy.
Well, I don't know how nice it is, but I'll bring you what I can.
You ever notice how Andrew plays a lot of haughty characters?
Yeah.
It's because I'm naturally haughty.
Really gives off a strong first impression of you guys.
Yeah.
So Jonah, I wanted to.
So,
Bjorn wanted to look and
wait,
try
hold
to
on.
find. Fine. Okay.
a snake, a cat, and a racist walk into a bar.
Oh, that's got to be the title of your YouTube video.
Okay, so I go back to everybody. I have acquired us 4 rooms, so unfortunately some folks will have to double bunk. Roderick, would you like to share a bunk?
I can if need be.
And then I will assume, I mean, something is obviously going on between Bjorn and Isaac. Let's be honest here.
Hey. What? Alright, whatever.
Bjorn
smirks
is
at you.
much too young for my taste.
You two are too easy.
Give him a couple 100 years and maybe.
I was about to say, give me a couple years. I'm working on it.
He hasn't even grown a full beard.
Isn't? Okay.
Well, regardless, there were only 4 rooms available, so
Dibs.
another pair will have to bunk together.
Dibs.
That's alright.
Dibs on a solo room.
Okay?
Let's see. So this is still mid-afternoon, right?
We're approaching 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, so it's about dinner time.
Yeah.
I'd have a
Guys,
fucking beer.
Yeah, I think I'd like to rest and get a drink.
Get this man a fucking poppers.
Oh, and also I have to go to the bank. Paige and Roderick, would you please accompany me?
I need to go to the crafting district, so.
Would the bank still be open at this time of day? Or are they about to close?
Or have they closed 7 hours ago because banking hours are fucking dumb?
See?
This I do not know. Perhaps your little gnome child friend could run ahead and check for us?
Or they might already know. They wouldn't already know. Go there.
Yes, children do not do very much banking in my experience.
Also, if we're out too late, I wouldn't want a child to be out at night here.
Well, it's like mid-afternoon, right?
Late afternoon.
Oh.
Late afternoon, early evening.
Well, how many hours of sunlight do we have left approximately?
If I recall right, it was spring-ish, so you probably have another couple hours of daylight.
Well, perhaps we should simply be on our way.
Sure.
Okay, well, I'd like to get a beer to go then.
Okay. And as you make that request, the gnome looks at you, out of confusion. Well, you aren't taking my glass. You got a mug for yourself there.
Hold on.
Oh, speaking of, you wouldn't happen to have any high quality scotch?
Old man, does it look like I have high quality anything?
Hey!
Perhaps.
So,
Maybe behind the counter somewhere? It's always worth asking.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck a duck.
She just sort of rolls her eyes at you. Sorry, Gramps. I got nothing of the sort.
I have a flask here.
Alright, I'll top that flask off for you for, well, 2 copper.
Sure.
We don't have to worry about any public intoxication laws, public drinking in general, do we?
Not really. You might have to worry about public intoxication.
So
But him
flasks
just
are
drinking a
tiny,
But I
beer.
mean,
they-
like, if you start getting wasted, just go behind an alleyway. Guards won't bother you.
All right.
Listen,
Can't say
Phil.
for much else here, but,
like you're gonna get 3 sips of beer and be
No,
done.
you wanna know what the thing is though? It was a flask of oil before.
Ew.
Oh.
That's a little bit gross.
So
Hold on. I actually might have an empty something. I have an extra wine.
there was some weird black shit in here. And she hands the flask back to you. Was that on purpose?
well, you know, it's out of necessity, really.
Hmm.
I haven't had the chance to properly rinse this flask recently.
Well, the markets are going to be open in the morning. You could always go there and get yourself a new flask. I'd suggest it.
This'll do for now, though.
You say so.
Speaking of markets being open in the morning, is there a bank around here?
Yeah, your friend asked that not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh, word of advice to the newcomers in town here. Suggest you all to be back by nightfall. Town doesn't get too safe afterwards. And it's not especially nice to newcomers.
Understood. Thank you. So I guess we head to the bank.
Yeah.
Sure.
Alrighty. You guys leave town, or sorry, not leave town. You guys leave Timber's Ale House, making your way back out to the main highway there. The bank is further up the street. You hadn't passed it beforehand, so as you guys are making your way up, eventually you can see the mines ahead of you, and that's where the giant piles of dirt and looming rock are protruding from the earth. You can see a very large stone entrance, open, no doors, and just about as you get there, there's a loud whistle that goes off. And shortly after, you see people flood their way out of the mines, covered in soot and dirt. A variety of races, though some of them are too dirty to tell exactly what race they are. As they make their way out to enjoy what evening they have. Passing past them, you get to you do find the bank. It is the I don't know. I didn't think of a bank name because I wasn't expecting a bank.
First National Bank of Draken.
Yeah, it's the First National Bank of Draken. Plain, boring, just like the bank in the Empire. There is a single clerk up front, sounds of one in the back. This clerk is dragonborn and has a golden sheen to their scales, pair of spectacles over their eyes as they look up at you. Welcome. What can I do for you?
Good afternoon, my dear. I am Nohai Oku, and I need to arrange for some money exchanges.
Very well, very well. Give me a moment. Would you mind writing your name down here?
And I guess I do that.
He takes your name and brings it onto the back. And you understand this from your previous visit. They're basically checking your name against the ledger, which they will then determine how much money you have. They
No
break.
pins, no ID, no fucking bank cards. Man, this place is lax.
They have magical facial recognition software.
No two-factor authentication.
As they do come back, well, it does appear that this name is associated with an account. You would be so kind as to provide a sample of your blood. We will then verify that it is yours and get you the funds that you request.
Okay, so I guess
Shit, talk about
they probably have like a
two-factor
little,
authentication.
like a little thing you put your finger in.
Yes, and he gives you a small receptacle.
Blood
It's got like a
magic here,
needle
man.
prick.
Do you
It's
remember the
damn
days when we tried
bloodsuckers.
so hard not to give away blood to random people?
This is
Yeah.
why I keep
And
my
now
money
you-
in a mattress.
Now you spit in a thing and send it off in the mail so they can totally map your DNA.
I have
Yeah,
yet
and then
do
sell it
that
to
in D&D.
advertisers.
Just you wait, Andrew. Just you wait.
You haven't had problems with advertisers in D&D?
That too.
Do you give him your blood?
I can see just random mooks running up to you with signs. It's just like,
This is normal,
Hey.
right? Like, this is what happened at the last bank, right? Like,
Yes.
you're
yes,
not trying to
this is-
fucking trick me here, right?
No, this is very normal.
But
have
do
to
you
just
give them
set
your
up
blood?
account. You guys all freaked out, so that's where I was sitting here, and I'm like, do you do that?
Yeah, I put my finger in the little blood verification guy.
He walks back to the back room, comes back after a few moments. All right, everything seems to be in order. How much would you like? Are you aware of your current balance?
Remind me, please. Should be just the 5,000, right?
It is. And he slides you a sheet of paper in front of you.
Good,
That is
that
your
in
current
order.
balance.
What I would like to do is there a tack house and stable in the town?
Probably.
Probably.
I don't have a horse, so
Oh, come on, you're a banker. You're supposed to know things.
I would assume that there is a tack house and stable somewhere near the stables at the entrance to the town.
Here is what I would like to do. I would like a check that you can authenticate so that I can take it to the tack house and stable and purchase things that I need. I would like another one for a general store and another one for an merchant.
Right. So you need 3 checks.
Let's say 4, just in case I want to go shopping somewhere else.
All right. I will give you 4 checks. Note that they can only be used at this location, and should the funds not be available, you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the empire.
Wait, what? That's
That
one hell of an
seems
overdraft
weirdly
law.
one-sided.
He
They,
heads.
they
it
take
should be
bank
fine.
fraud very seriously.
They're like, oh, you thought you had 27 gold, but you only had 26? That's a death sentence.
I must
No, you
admit
just
you
get
lack
sent to
some of the
gulag.
decorum of your counterpart in Delphinkar, but I do understand the laws, yes.
Fantastic. He goes into the back room and comes back with a small envelope. There you are. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Out of character, I assume that because blood is one of their things, like they must have some sort of, like, on the check, like some spot where you put a drop of your blood.
There is, yes.
Okay. And probably also, like, well, I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, okay, it's all good. So I got 4 checks,
I
right?
didn't realize blood
Yes.
magic was so like pervasive in the society.
I was hoping
Uh,
that they would have like a purchaser at the bank that I could just give you my list of things that I want, and then they would start getting them delivered.
That you need to talk to the Amazon.
Unfortunately, this bank branch is much smaller than the one in Delphinkar. They don't quite have a purchaser.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll be going shopping tomorrow, boys.
Yay.
Is that all?
That would be sufficient, yes.
Wonderful. Have a nice day.
You as well.
The clerk kind of sits back and goes back to reading a small book in front of him, ignoring the lot of you for now. Where do you guys head now?
I suppose we just head back to the inn. Or no, you guys wanted to go through the crafting district, right?
It's probably too late now. We'll do that tomorrow.
All right. You guys head back to the inn, and upon entering it, it's a little bit more lively. The town still has this dreary atmosphere to it, but as you step into the inn, there's a few more citizens in there. The music is picked up slightly, and there's a couple
Is Ephraim's there?
individuals dancing around. Did Ephraim's not join you?
No, I only took Roderick and Paige with me.
Oh. Are the rest of you there? I guess I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I just found a table and I'm sipping on a little bit of. Do I have any whiskey?
You should have some.
I have fancy whiskey.
What's with all these people and their fancy alcohol?
It's just this thing.
I tried very hard to acquire a specific alcohol.
And it didn't work.
It didn't. Well, I got a half a bottle, but I drank it already.
You drank some of it. Another bit was forcefully chucked down your throat as you passed out.
That's true.
I just want you guys to know I'm not a healer until I get another bottle of Sunset Scotch.
Yeah, well, do you want us to know that in character?
No. You can metagame that one.
Okay. So we're all, you guys are you all sitting together, or?
So Bjorn
Sure.
probably left the tavern to go and look for signs of the order.
Okay.
Part of why we're here.
Give me an investigation check.
Why can't I use my Heart of Darkness background to get a feel for what some of the locals say about things they shouldn't know about?
If you do that, I would say give me investigation with advantage then, as you go to various people and basically the people you encounter either don't know anything about the order, or as soon as they realize kind of where you're going with your questioning, they start to clam up a little bit. You get the impression that while the order has a presence here, it's not held in very high esteem. You're basically able to, with the hours of daylight that are left, you do a good comb over of the area of the city that's in front of the gate, as well as some of the nicer district, more to the bottom left of that map, southeast, I guess. Then you get the impression that the order probably exists in the poorer district of the city. You probably have to go towards there to sort of search and see if you can find any signs or symbolage of the order.
2 questions. One
Yes.
is out of character. So in Revlin,
Mhm.
the order wasn't really like, it was just the one dude basically as kind of like a little safe house,
Right.
and nobody really knew that the order existed.
Mhm.
Are you implying that here people know the order exists? Not only do they know it exists, but they're like, we don't like it for whatever reason.
Yes. It does seem like there's some people that know it exists, and as soon as they realize that's what you're asking for, they end the conversation and leave.
Okay, next time I encounter somebody, I ask more about. I try to steer the conversation more towards why do people feel this way about the order? Try to get that kind of information.
Give me a persuasion check as you try to coax this information.
Advantage?
Not an advantage, not on this one.
Art of Darkness. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that'll do you. You find an older gentleman who seems to recognize you're an out of towner and not. There seems to be some distrust whenever you start a conversation.
Yeah.
But this person seems to just recognize you as an outsider fully, and so addresses you like one. Well, listen, I know what you're asking for, and those questions are not ones you should be asking. Take it from me. Drop it.
A number of people I've talked to, sir, have felt the way you do. What is it about this entity here, order, that makes everyone want to run away from them? What is it about them?
Are you familiar with who they are?
In other places, yes. But in other
Well, over
places,
here, they only bring bad news. The order's involved, and some shit's going down that frankly no one wants to be a part of. Brings a lot of attention from the Empire, and generally just worsens people's lives. So, as I said before, just drop it. You'll be better luck finding help from the guards for whatever problem ails you.
I wanted to understand what the order is involved in so I can keep far, far away. You tell me,
Then
or
just
who would I
keep your
talk
head down, stay away from trouble, and you'll be fine.
to? Okay. Thank you for your time.
Don't mention it. I'd turn in soon if I were you. That he doesn't treat those outsiders well after dark. With that, the older gentleman leaves.
Assuming about this time, sun is setting, and I'm like, oh, I should return to the tavern.
About this time, yeah.
Sure, so I do that.
The rest of you, as you're in the tavern, Bjorn is a little bit later, so he hasn't quite come in yet, but he's on his way back. The rest of you, what do you do as the other three enter?
Or did you do anything special while we were gone?
Or that.
It's later in the evening, right?
It is.
Yeah, I'll just
and you
wait till
guys have
tomorrow.
seen more people start to filter in. They're giving you all some wary looks, but for the most part, they're leaving you guys be.
Yeah, I got some stuff to do, but I'll wait till tomorrow.
Okay.
This is not the town that we traced Dallin to?
No,
This is near that, I
Dallin
thought.
is just slightly northeast of you, in the small town of. Shoot, what was the name of the town? Well, I can't remember the name of the town, but I wrote it down somewhere. It's a little bit to the north, east of you, about a day's travel.
Okay. Well, then I sit down with everybody.
Okay.
I go, I would like to buy everybody a horse. Who knows how to ride? So
Yes,
nobody
I
then?
assume yes.
It's just
Uh,
out of character. It's just wrapped into animal handling now, isn't it?
You can also have proficiency in horse riding.
Basically, I would say you're all familiar with riding a horse. You all could ride a horse.
I mean, we
You
rode
all-
horses here, sort of.
You all can't fight it while riding a horse, unless you guys got like proficiency in that.
Okay.
I got a proficiency from my background. But I also don't need
Yeah,
a
but
horse
you also
to be bought for me. Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll get rid of the line that said warhorse. Thought I was going to get one of those for Ephraim's. He is a horseless tribe. People tribe. He's from A. Okay, so then
They have horse riders. He's not one of them.
Isaac will ride in the carriage with me. Who will drive the carriage? Or Isaac, you could drive the carriage if you like.
Fear, I don't have any experience with carriages or horses in this lifetime. Unless, fuck it, Jonah, was I a fucking knight at some point? Cause I don't fucking know.
Roll me a history check.
No.
You're just really not sure if you've ever seen a carriage. Like,
I mean, you've literally ridden in a wagon, but
you put shit, man. Who knows?
Yeah.
Paige, would you prefer to drive the carriage?
That would actually be perfect.
Okay. Then we will need 4 horses. And saddles. And I'm sort of scrawling this down. Now, let's talk armor. Who needs armor?
Is this all occurring while I'm still not here yet?
Were you not there when we got back?
About this time, you show back up.
Great. Hey guys, what'd I miss?
Oh, we're going to buy you a horse. I am going to buy you a horse because I'm so generous. You're
You are
very
very
welcome.
generous.
So, let's talk armor. What kind of armor can everybody wear?
I can wear medium armor.
Okay, and what do you currently wear?
Scale. Basic
Scale,
as it
you
gets.
say?
Basic as it gets. Scale male.
You are not very able to be stealthy in that, but I don't know if it's worth the extra cost. Defense?
Very dexterous.
Defense?
I do not wear armor.
Okay. Paige?
I've already got my studded leather.
Okay. Roderick?
I'm currently wearing a breastplate.
Okay, and nobody can wear heavy armor?
I can wear heavy armor, but I don't think it would do me any good.
You don't think
Actually
it would
would,
do you any
but-
good to be in plate armor?
No, I definitely would. I don't know if I can actually wear plate though. Hold up, let me do
You're
some
Pally, right?
self-inflict.
Oh,
Yeah,
you need
but
strength 15 though.
Yeah, I don't have any strength.
Yeah, he'd probably only be able to wear chainmail at the most.
So, out of character, Jonah, could I... How quickly would it take me to gain proficiency in heavy armor if I went to the guard and tried to train really crazy for 3 days?
Well, by the rules is written like 250 days
There's
to
a
gain a new
feat.
skill.
There is a feat for that. So, like, we'd probably run it kind of the same way that we ran the last feat. And it would
Yeah.
take a while.
All right.
Jonah, is it possible, or what do I need to do to find out if it's possible to get enchanted armor in this town?
I would say over a course of conversation, searching, and general observation, you've seen guards with magical armor. They're usually captains or of some rank. They're not just the basis peons of the military here. So you would think it's possible. Most of the folk around the tavern aren't really sure because they don't really buy magical gear, but many think it's possible. You'd have
And
to try
this-
either the crafting district or find a shop in the market area that would sell you something.
And just off the top of your head, I mean, how much are you expecting to increase the cost for a magical armor? Like level 1 uncommon, you know?
For +1 armor?
Yeah.
Well, that would require me knowing how much +1 armor costs.
When we did it in that other in the one shot, it was like the cost of a +1 added to the cost of the armor. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's going to be how it's typically, and then basically it will from there either go up or down based solely off of what the dude thinks of you. So
Okay.
take that as you will. Yeah, it'll be the armor plus the magical cost. So,
So, like, what is the magical cost? I guess is my question.
+1 armor is rare. So,
No, it isn't.
yeah, I just looked it up.
Is it? Oh wow.
Yeah, +1 armor is rare, so that's gonna cost you a pretty penny.
Hey, Jonah.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're all talking about things, about the same time that Nohai would have gotten a bunch of her gems, I got a giant black pearl from the same chest.
Yes.
Now, I haven't sold it, but you confirm for me that it is, like, can you look up the item? Because I'm probably going to ask Paige to fence it for the group. Or Nohai, somebody. Somebody with more people skills than I do.
What did you write down, out of curiosity?
I wrote down giant black pearl.
Okay, cool.
What you told me, so that's what I got.
All right. I got it pulled up here, so.
I also you told me you gave me a rune stone, a white stone that's translucent, but I never really got it looked at.
A white stone that was translucent?
With faint blue glow.
That one's going to be a little bit harder to identify. What? I need to, like, have more notes, but I guess I supposed you guys were going to sell those pretty quickly.
I mean, why the hell would I sell a rune stone for you? I think the pearl might be a little easier. For the group.
Gotcha. Okay, found it.
What? You found the things?
Found the thing.
Okay. Well, in character now, guys. Since we're talking about procurement and stuff, I have 2 items, and I start digging in my pack. 2 items, one of which can be sold, and one of which I mean, it could be sold, but I think we should use it, maybe? And I pull out this pearl and a rune stone. And I kind of look at Paige and Nohai and say, can you guys help us fence this one? And I hold up the pearl and help us figure out what this is and what we can do with it. And I hold up the rune stone.
Paige, you notice several people in the tavern are looking at the pearl.
Alright, so I would suggest you put away that pearl.
I do put it back. I put it back in the bag.
It's not noticeable, as it, like, Paige just happens to catch a few of the glances that go up. But it did draw attention when you did that.
How very extremely couth of you, my dear. Perhaps we should move this conversation up to our rooms.
Perfect.
So, do we all go up there? Is everybody good with that?
Jonah, I want to kind of rinse and repeat what I did earlier, like a couple times, if I can.
Okay. Give me a couple of persuasion checks.
So, can we switch over to like taking care of business mode? You know what I mean?
For the most part, your conversations, while the others are going to do their business, the conversation is received well enough. Nobody throws you out. but most are laughing off your claims. They don't see much evidence of a god of humans in this area. But then as the rest of you go up to your rooms, I assume most of this conversations and stuff happened fairly briefly. You guys all collect yourselves in one of the small rooms that you guys have rented. Isn't completely soundproof. You can still hear some of the music coming from downstairs. And it's a rather old, rickety building. So if you talk loud enough, you will be heard. But as long as you're quiet, you're fairly confident that unless somebody's purposely trying to listen in on you, you can remain unheard.
So let me just put it this way. Does anybody want or need any equipment?
I mean,
half
let's,
plate.
let's get a few bottles of scotch for what's his name. How much does that cost?
A few bottles of scotch. Those are gonna run
the
you
correct one.
the Sunset Scotch. You're gonna have to find a nice brewery in town. Those will run you 25 gold apiece.
what?
It seems a lot, but okay.
They were like 3 gold the last time I bought one.
Well, it's like God's beard.
Fucking Godspeed.
He knows I have a lot of money, so he's gonna start fucking us. Don't worry. It's fine. It is what it is.
Or maybe everything's stupidly inflated in this town. Maybe.
I'm gonna buy us all fine clothes in case we need to talk to nobles.
Okay.
So I'm looking at mounted combat and stuff in this edition. And apparently, you can fight from horseback just fine. It's just if it's untrained, it's an untrained warhorse, it's not as good. And if you don't have animal handling, you can screw up. But there's no ride skill anymore.
Well, I think the biggest thing I got him for was for our traveling, so that it doesn't take us so long to travel. And we can actually go to a place and then do a thing, not go to a place and then rest. You know what I mean? Let's see. Bought us all fine clothes.
Andrew, half plate would give me an extra 1 point of AC, so it's not like a big deal. If you have money just floating around, you're like, I don't want to,
I mean, that's like 750 gold for 1 AC, so I'm not super into that.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
what
it's
I was saying.
worth. So, what I would like, personally, I mean, without me getting proficiency in heavy armor, I don't think an armor upgrade is worth for me right now. But I would like to get a +1 longsword or morning star.
The +1 is going to be rare no matter what, so I think we should actually try to find quests.
Find those instead of buy it, yeah.
Yeah, we should try to see if there are any legends of such weapons, and we can try to acquire them. And that could probably end up being like a quest arc for us. But yeah, we definitely need to gear up if we're going to be fighting demons.
Yeah, it's a quick meta talk. We need to,
Gear the
right
fuck
now our
up.
characters need to look for equipment and gear up, because we are, under-leveled for sure, but way under-geared to try to take on.
Yeah, a lot of us are still using basic gear. We have a couple nice things that Jonah gave us.
Here was my thought. Let's right now, let's finish our shopping list. And then, Jonah, if this is okay with you, can we run through the next couple days as just 2 of us go shopping, Paige goes and finds the Thieves Guild contacts.
Also, is there a library?
Shit like that.
And
maybe a couple people go get labor jobs or whatever.
I've got 2 things of information I'm looking for as well while I'm here.
We can breeze over most of this if you guys want to compile together all of what you guys want to do over the next couple of days. We
Just
could breeze
to be
over
clear,
that.
guys, based on what Bjorn learned, talking to people, he'd probably want to talk to Paige. Hey, I'm hearing bad things about the Order, and I don't really know what that's all about. Before I just walk over there and try to just talk to people, I'd want Paige to try to listen around and learn more.
Yeah, I can do
And
that.
I mean, I assume most of this stuff you guys can like. You guys will have had this conversation at night, and we can kind of breeze
Yeah.
over some of the minutia of this. The only thing I would ask then is, while you guys are all figuring out what you want to know, if you could also tell me, because if you guys are going to go down the route of trying to get geared up, looking for a quest and all that, are you guys in the mood for something more along the lines of thievery or like dungeon crawling? Because I could work on both, but I wasn't really sure where we were going to go.
Yeah, we're gonna totally attack. We're totally gonna do a Ocean's 11 on the giant fortress that's in the middle of that lake over there, and steal everything that's in their armory. That's what I'm in the mood for.
With half the party
I mean,
being not stealthy.
honestly,
I was
yeah,
gonna go for the
we're
clock
kind of
tower.
we're kind of more dungeon sprawly of a party.
We
You know what I
are.
mean?
Yeah.
That's where I just wanted to touch base, because if Nikki talks with the Thieves Guild, like that could go different routes. So that's where I was.
Yeah, think less Ocean's 11 and more Tomb Raider, I think.
More Tomb Raider. Okay.
I'm also going
So
to try
what?
to
We're all a
find...
bunch of unlikable cunts.
Well, that pretty
God
much is
damn.
false, I thought.
What did Laura? When did she be in your conflicts?
I've just been listening to a lot of zero punctuation, so.
And I thought you were into that.
I'm gonna look for I'm trying to find religious establishments here. I have a religious symbol, but I completely forget whose it is.
It was the dragon god of justice.
Yeah, but I can't remember his name, and I forgot to write it down.
Ivandir.
Oh shit, some of these I think are so hard.
I'm trying to establish a church if you're interested.
I thought it was for humans only.
Nah, you can repent.
You're totally
It's all
half
cool.
eligible.
I'm pretty sure he still views you as human, anyways.
Oh, I
For the
haven't
most part.
transformed in front of him, have I?
You have
No,
not.
I have. I have.
Remember
I have.
No, he did.
Oh,
Remember,
you did. That's right.
Loon
That's right.
was like, "No, you can't trust that guy."
That's right. That's right.
Anyways, so I have a symbol of Ivandir, so I'm gonna try and find more information about Ivandir because I'm pretty sure I'm an acolyte for him.
Okay.
How much would it cost for me to get written up a coat of arms and to gain a minor noblemancy?
To get written up a coat
Or
of
is that even
arms.
possible with not being a dragonborn?
Do you
think
want
we
to?
would
Do you
need a
want a
key.
forgery, or do you
Or-
want to? Do you want
Like I want an actual
legit?
station.
You want to be legit?
Yeah.
We would need land. Or
To
you
be
would need land.
legit, you would need to be granted that from somebody that is already noble of pretty high rank.
Okay.
The way I would think of it is, you should think of it kind of like the Roman Empire, in the sense that the Dragonborn are Romans and you are not.
Yeah,
The
it's
other-
fucking racist.
Important piece of information I'm trying to find is who the hell is Jonathan and what order does he serve in?
Okay.
So I was hoping to get with
Super
Paige
vague.
on that and like have him look for information in a scholarly way, and then I was gonna go to any sort of religious organizations around and use my
So-
acolyte background.
I feel as though I should just make a list of the things I'm supposed to look for.
Yeah.
So the order.
Well, as long as Jonah knows that both you and I are looking for this in different sources, I feel fine.
Well, no, then Bjorn wants him to look into the order as well.
Right.
The order. The
And then
how to
anything
kill
he wants to
demons.
do.
Yeah. Paige asked if there was a library.
I did, yeah.
There is a library in the city.
Right. Ephraim's wants to go there and read.
Okay.
And then Jonathan.
Yeah, just the nature of Jonathan, who he is, what does he serve, what do divas typically serve, who his god
Okay.
is.
So the order I would talk to my contacts with. Demons I would do research on, and then Jonathan I would also do research on.
Anything for your own personal research?
What's the last thing I was working on?
Wasn't it that book that was in a primordial language or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Nohai and I were translating that together.
Yeah.
Jonah,
Yes.
unless unless the party has something else they want me to do, I think I'd take a moment to find somebody to finish the training that I started in Revlin.
Oh, Jonah.
You still have forgotten most of that training, just as an FYI.
Fucking hate you. Bullshit,
Jonah.
bitch.
So
Yes.
I would also want to specifically look into Orcus some more.
Okay, I assume at the library. That is
Yeah.
easily done.
And
Oh.
I guess
I want to buy us all silvered version of our weapons.
That will be 100 gold per weapon.
So we're getting a silvered longsword, a silvered glaive, a silvered long knife. Right? And what do you have, Paige? Does anybody have magic weapons?
I already have silvered weapons.
Okay.
Actually,
The only person with I think, Ephraim's has a magic short sword that doesn't have any charges, and you don't know what it does.
Yeah.
It's actually... Sorry, thank you for bringing that up. Over the course of your travels, you haven't attuned to it yet, but it does seem to have regained some of its magical charge.
Okay, so nobody needs silvered weapons?
I have a... I mean, I don't really use weapons much, but technically
Yeah, you
I can.
have magic. Don't... Fuck off.
Yeah. If you want to buy Ephraim some silver-tipped arrows, you know...
Okay, so...
Or any other kind of specialty arrows.
I don't have any silver weapons or anything.
Okay, so you need a silver rapier?
Saber, but yeah.
Saber, okay.
Yeah. I like that hacking, you know?
On.
Oh, speaking of stuff and things, Jenna, I'd like to pray tonight and just kind of focus on like what a symbol of Elune would look like.
What a symbol of a loon would look like? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a white pointed hat with flaming eye holes.
Wow.
I'm not that dark of a person, okay?
Hey, what's your name?
Jonah.
I'm assuming that it would be 1 silver piece per arrow. Or 2 silver pieces even, because all you're really doing is just melting silver and putting it on a steel arrow.
Yeah, it's gonna cost you, it would cost you 2 silver pieces, one to put on the arrow, and then the other for the craftsmanship.
Okay. So how many do you want, Brax? Like 20?
Yeah, just a quiverful.
How much is a normal arrow? I can't find one. I can't find a cost for just an arrow.
It's like the quiver.
I think there's one in... I want to say it's in our weapons table, but I could be totally wrong.
I'll be right back, guys.
There was definitely a thing for a quiver, but it doesn't say that it's full of arrows.
I've seen it somewhere. I think it's like... I don't know, I want to say a gold for like 10 arrows, but that sounds really high to me.
What are you guys looking for again?
Hold on, I had it earlier.
Oh, silvered munitions?
Yeah, that ends up being like 6 gold for 20 silvered arrows, so that's fine with me.
So arrows, 20 arrows is 1 gold piece.
20
Oh, it
arrows
is?
is 1 gold.
It's
Okay.
under the adventuring gear table.
I knew I've seen it somewhere.
And then 2 silver times 20 arrows is 40, so that's just 4 gold, right? So then it's going to be 5 gold for 20 silvered arrows. Okay. I think that's all. So tomorrow I'm gonna need a someone to go with me shopping, a bodyguard, and then it might as well be Roderick since you wanted to go to the crafting district anyway.
Yeah. Also, you're fairly human, so I like you.
Fairly human. Unless you start looking at my
Scales and
private
all.
bits, I look pretty human.
Does Roderick even know what a Yuntai is?
Yuan Ti. Nobody
Yuan-ti,
knows what a
sorry.
Yuan
Fuck
Tai
no.
is.
I'm
Like-
basically like a sexy redneck. Like, I don't really. I think that all Asians are the same and stuff.
So there's my list there, Jonah.
Oh, he gave me a list. Thanks.
Now I
Alrighty.
have approximately 4,000 gold left, and I'd like to find out what businesses are for sale in town.
You are buying. Wait, I misread this. Why do you have each and then quantity?
Oh, because that's the single price, and then the quantity, and then the extended price.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense.
Somebody's never seen a purchase order.
No, we just do purchase orders in the most convoluted and stupid of ways at my place, and it doesn't look like that.
Sometimes.
Yeah. We just changed it too, so I had to do more training on how to buy things. Dumb. Only one silver weapon? Silvered saber and silvered arrows?
Yeah, everybody else already has a magic weapon, or...
Longsword?
Oh, I thought you said that you had one.
No, I gave the short sword
Oh,
to
it's a short
Ifrit.
sword, that's why, okay.
I mean,
in
I
that
could
case,
use it, but he didn't have shit, so
I mean, that's another 115 gold then. So
And then
1,050.3.
were you going to buy any I don't know, fancy inks and papers in case you find another spell you want to copy?
Oh yeah, how much is that going to cost me?
It would just be so whatever the wizard spell cost is for transcribing a spell. So
Well, that depends on what school it is.
right, I would just put it as wherever that is. I would say 50 gold for each level of spell, and then basically just keep tabs on how much paper and fine ink you have as a gold cost, and if you happen to find a spell that is cheaper for you, we can just take it off of that
Am I
total
able
number.
to transcribe that catapult spell into my spellbook?
If you haven't already, you now can buy the material components to do so, so yes.
And then would I be able to also? I had another one. It was like half a scroll of floating disc, I think.
Yes, that would also be one that you could now spend the material components on, so that would be...
Okay, so maybe I'll do 200 gold. So to copy those two into my spellbook, and then to have 2 spells primed.
Okay. 2 levels of spells?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That works.
So that brings my total to 1250.3. So I still have 4,000 gold. What businesses are for sale around town?
Businesses are for sale?
Yeah.
Honestly, I never expected that question. So,
you want to buy a business in this town?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what's available and
So
how
there's-
thriving it is. Okay, how about this?
the biggest thing in the town is going to be the mines, and that you can buy shares from. That is a pretty common thing if you don't have a lot of gold, but since you have a lot of gold, what sort of business are you looking to invest in?
Preferably something lucrative. I mean, I'm hoping to buy a business that will net us like, a few hundred gold a week or something. So maybe like a trading company or a money exchanger or like a smithy.
I hadn't thought of my economy in that regard for I would say you'd be able to find something. Where if you had enough gold you could probably convince somebody to sell it to you.
He's buying a brothel. What are you kidding? Who are you kidding?
Oh yeah, I
That
want
is-
to buy a whorehouse. Actually, yeah. What the fuck am I thinking? This is a mining town.
Yeah, like that's definitely going to be the most lucrative. Thanks for the reminder there.
Okay, are there any
Um,
are there any empty large houses or inns? I have decided we're going into the brothel industry.
do you just want to set up a brothel, or
Does the party get a discount?
I mean,
I'm
maybe.
so we could either go down the route where you set up a brothel in your downtime,
You know
or you
what?
could try to find one and buy it.
I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna talk to Timber,
Okay.
who I've decided her name is Timber because it's Timber's Ale House.
You might be right in that regard.
And let's find out what the price is for her inn. And I want to also know if there's any adjoining lots where we could expand to create more rooms.
There are adjoining lots. Some of them are occupied, but the one immediately behind you guys is not.
And I
Though it
assume
has
that
been-
whoring is legal in this town, being a mining town.
Yes,
Okay.
it is very legal across the empire.
Okay.
Degenerates.
Welcome to Vegas.
So pending that conversation, just so we have an understanding of what everybody wants to do, did anybody else want to chime in on something they want to do over the next couple days?
I mean,
I sent you what Ephraim's is doing.
just a reminder, I still have the Black Pearl and that rune stone.
Yeah, so we need to... Well, he needs to establish his credentials in the Thieves Guild before he can get anything fenced, I assume.
Right, but I'm more concerned about the rune stone. I want to know what it is and then what I can do with it. Like, I'm not familiar with rune stones in D&D, so I don't know if I just try to sock it into my gear or something and get something. I don't know.
See, I think the end of the day, I don't think I told you it was a runestone because it's not.
I assumed it was because it's a thing and it's glowing. So
Yeah.
maybe you need to tell
Okay.
me what it is.
Well, I can spend my evenings studying it. I mean, I'm the most magical of us, so...
Okay, so you want to identify what the stone is. You want to sell some items. You want to buy some items. Nikki's looking for information. Phil's looking for information. Bjorn's looking for information. Ephraim, you're going to the library for what?
I sent you a whisper.
You did? Oh, there it is. Okay. And then Gavin, what are you doing?
He wants some money to buy a church.
Well, so I'm trying to figure out what my holy symbol looks like. And then I just want ink and a lot of paper and a book.
An ink. Are you making a Bible?
Yes.
Yes. And then once I get the holy symbol, I want to find a blacksmith and commission like 20 or 30 holy symbols.
Okay.
You should
I'll-
vote for that shit.
I'll let you have your way with whatever the holy symbol looks like. Although I would like to know for future reference.
Oh, it definitely looks like a phallus going into an anus.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. As far as everybody else, so just informational feel here. Nikki, you're able to get into contact over the next couple of days with the Thieves Guild.
Specifically, how many days? Because I paid for 4 days in the rooms.
Right. Well, pending on how the conversation goes after this, that might not be relevant because you might own the fucking place.
Good point.
You're able to get in contact with them the next day, and over the course of the next 2, you build up their trust. They do their various background checks on you and make sure that like through magic and through interrogation that you're legit, and you're able to start looking into the information that the other 2 have requested. Remind me again what Phil asked you to look into.
Jonathan, his nature, the nature of all that. The so that one I was expecting less to get like my contacts, and more from.
Again,
I was expecting less from my contacts and more just from research.
Okay. And then Bjorn was more on information about the order, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what's going on.
The Thieves Guild has plenty of information on the order. They deal with them on a semi-regular basis.
They probably hire specialists from the Thieves Guild to deal with certain things, don't they?
With certain things, with getting into areas with the Thieves Guild has a couple of different escape routes throughout the city, specifically for them. They have a very close-knit relationship.
Safe house.
As such, you understand that the Order is very much not loved by the Empire in Veseth. They've had their run-ins with the guards. It's essentially the case of police versus vigilantes. They if something of a monstrous nature takes hold in the town, the guards want to take care of it. The Order usually steps in. And they tell you a few tales of where things did not go well, and there was plenty of extra people that died. But you get the impression you can set up a meet with somebody in the Order.
Are these like innocent extra people, or are these people who are just a little extra in the comic?
Did anybody understand that?
Something. Were these something extra people, or were these people who something?
Yeah, he's asking if they were
maybe
civilians
a little more
or,
detail on,
guards.
okay, how did extra people die from who by what?
Yeah, civilians. Like, a werewolf out. There's a werewolf in the city, and rather than letting one entity take care of it, the guards and the Order both show up at the same place. Some chaos ensues. The werewolf gets out, and innocent people die. That sort of thing.
See, that's why we just let the guards deal with werewolves.
Apparently. But you can set up a meet with somebody in the Order and with Bjorn. You're able to do that with your contacts in the Thieves Guild. As far as researching in the libraries, both you and Ephraim's spend some time there. The libraries, as with most written text, is well protected. While you're in there, you are accompanied by one of the clerics of the library, who serve both to find information for you as they know where everything's categorized, and also to ensure that you don't
try to abscond with anything.
Steal anything or damage anything. You're allowed to take notes. You're allowed to read whatever's in the library. You're just not allowed to take anything out of the library. There is quite a bit of religious history in the Draken Empire. You get a vague understanding that divas are typically aligned to a singular god. Let me see if I can pull up my notes on divas. Have those somewhere. Where is it?
Wow, my first day was fruitless.
Really have
divas have been known to they've been known to be distant from their charges. They typically have a few people that they that are specially called by a god, that they sort of guide and mentor, directing more directing these people towards a specific goal or agenda, whereas your average cleric or paladin might not have that direct connection. A diva sort of is the mediator between a god and a person. In this case, specifically an Aasimar. The diva also, there's been accounts in history where a diva asks something that may not seem good or very lawful at the time. It comes out later that this was a lesser of two evils decision. And there's a lot of theory that the diva is able to, they see a broader scope of history. They see a more direct line between cause and effect of her decisions in the now. And so they sometimes ask things that make no sense, but in the end are the better choice. A lot of the text speaks very highly of them, as they are very close to whatever god that the diva serves. And if you're ever approached by one, it is the equivalent of like the mouth of God speaking. There isn't any divas called out by name within the text, so Jonathan's name doesn't appear in there. You do know that the divas tend to symbolize the god they serve. So a god of destruction would probably have a diva that is armored and built for war. A god of life would probably have a very calming and soothing diva in appearance. If it was an evil god, then it might be a bit more grotesque. But there's a whole different section within the texts about evil divas and if they even exist. Are you looking for anything in specifics or just a general understanding of divas?
I'm not sure if Isaac wanted to know anything specific that wasn't just like specifically who's Jonathan.
Okay. You don't find anything that is specific to who is Jonathan. You just get a better understanding of his role. That he is working very closely as the right hand of some god. Yeah. Ephraim's, you doing your research.
Yeah, day one sucked.
Day one history, legends, demons, history before the Empire. The Empire arose some 700 years ago out of conflict with the various city-states that inhabited the continent beforehand. There's a lot of
the name. Do I have a name of some of the city-states, like specifically the one that was doing the research that created the artifact?
I have that name written somewheres.
Does Ephraim have access?
Hold on, I have that somewhere, I think.
Yeah, right? I thought I gave it to Nikki, which
Oops.
theoretically would mean you would also have it. I need to keep better organized notes. I literally have just a scrawled killing Aoife written down somewhere.
Hold on, give me a moment.
They are the Thornbrock people. I believe. That was the name of the castle. Yeah, I believe that was the Thornbrock people.
I How you spell it? Thornbr
OCK.
OCK.
Thornbrock. They were one of the largest sort of mini empires. They had a couple different cities under their control that they would, and they were constantly warring against the Draken Empire before eventually they seemed to crumble from within. Here the history gets a bit muddled, not very clear, but it seemed like the conflict was reaching a peak. The war had been ongoing, like a full-fledged war effort had been ongoing for the last 5 or so years. It was reaching a peak, and then
Hold on.
the Thornbrock people seemed to implode.
Weren't the Thornbrock also Dragonborn though?
They were also Dragonborn.
Because I'm remembering the statues of the heroes. They were Dragonborn.
Yes.
And
So that was in the book that I recovered.
Yours is on the geography of the area that was written in Primordial.
No, this is from a different book that I recovered from the Stronghold.
Okay.
Yeah. It's from the history that you could read. Most of the continent was covered with Dragonborn people at one point or another. Different clans kind of separated from each other, and that's what formed these different city-states.
And basically, an emperor decided that he wanted to combine all the Dragonborn city-states into one great nation, is what I'm gathering.
Right, except unfortunately that happened to 2 different emperors at the same time, hence the Draken and the Thornbrock.
Alright, so were they related in any way, or just 2 people rising to power at the same time?
2 people rising to power same time. They seem... the history doesn't have them be related. Who knows how accurate that is, as history's written by the victors. But you get the impression that the war at the time was really up in the air as to who was going to win.
Did either of them seem to have dealings with demons for their power? Or
there's a lot of theories that the Thornbrock did. The main differences between the 2 empires was the Draken Empire excelled in military strength. Their soldiers were better equipped. Their weapons were better made. Whereas the Thornbrock people excelled in magical might. They laid a lot of the groundwork for much of the magic infrastructure that is around the Draken Empire today. Their research being used for generations.
What about the what about the religious infrastructure of the 2?
The religious infrastructure was odd at best. They both claim to follow the will of Ivandir, the god of order and justice, but they both had very different ideas for what that meant. A couple of the sub-gods that they followed, the Thornbrock people followed more gods that allied with intelligence, as well as chaos. They weren't afraid to delve into realms they did not understand, whereas the Draken Empire primarily followed gods that valued order, laws, bending things under in their control. They followed gods that were focused on nature and on dominion over the physical realm, whatever they could tangibly get their hands on.
Alright, so basically Ephraim's going to pull a lot of basically that the problem is now that the Draken Empire's in charge and has basically destroyed the Thornbrock people, and apparently not destroyed all this history, since I am finding books about it in here. But these artifacts apparently were lost to history, or am I picking up any comments about their ultimate weapon that they were working on or anything like that?
The closest that you can get to that is the moment of implosion for the Thornbrock people. There's a moment in the war where instead of Draken rising above them and crushing them,
It basically the Thornbrock, like
they died
city,
out of
a
their own
city,
accord.
a city explodes. The capital goes crazy. Everybody murders each other. What kind of implosion are we talking about?
Disease breaks out amongst their people. There is talk of cities that disappeared, but these were ones that hadn't been visited by the Draken beforehand, so it's unconfirmed rumors. At this point, you're reading through notes taken by a single historian. It's a what do you call it?
So basically, it looks like your notes.
No, it's whatever you call it for biblical texts, where somebody has like a bunch of text on one side and then somebody's writing a bunch of notes about it.
Okay.
I forget what that's called. Like a concordance or something like that.
Yeah.
He's you're reading the notes of a historian based off of like a standardized history book, and he's like adding to it.
Basically, you see the line coming over, and it's like, this isn't actually true. This is what really happened.
Right.
This is propaganda by the Draken Empire to blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to get shot for this one.
He seems to be doing an attempt at writing a very accurate historical data, which they have upheld, surprisingly. A lot of it is still
who is this
pro-Draken.
Who is this library maintained by?
The library is maintained by the Draken Empire. It is I don't want to say federal, it's an imperial property.
I'm actually kind of surprised that this heretical text is in here.
It is still very pro-Draken.
Okay.
But you get the opinion just based off the amount of people you've seen enter the library. Nobody looks at this book, so
okay.
There's no reason to get rid of it. Probably the librarians don't know it's there. Or like what's all written in there.
Yeah, they haven't bothered to read it. It's just like, it's in the inventory. Shuffle it to where it belongs.
Right.
Oh, this crazy half-elf barbarian wants to read it. Can they read? Well, he's looking at the pages. Apparently he can.
Yeah, they're more confused by you than anything. They don't seem to be paying much attention to the content of the books. But yeah, you get a lot of impressions that there was a point in the war when Thornbrock imploded. Cities either disappeared by rumor, disease broke out.
Am I coming through?
Yeah.
You are now.
Basically, from what Ephraim's has seen of the one installation that we were in Active Swamp and stuff like that, he's starting to draw the conclusion that whatever they were working on turned against them and caused this implosion.
That's a pretty decent impression that you're getting.
I'm working at 10 intelligence for all it's worth.
I mean, you have a couple of days to go over this.
Yeah. Well, I've got a 12 wisdom, so...
Yeah, you can draw dots.
Yeah.
Isaac, you, in your research of gods and religion, the city here worships Evandir and Morden as the primary gods. Vandir being the god for the Dragonborn, Mordrin being the god for a lot of the miners, as the dwarven nature of this god makes him a little more relatable. And there is a decent dwarvish population in the crafting district. As you look into Evandir specifically, though, and into a little bit of the lore behind him, Evandir has 2 children, one of which is... where's my notes? This one I had good notes on, but it's on a different page. One of which is Maheen, god of wind and storm. This child favors sort of a neutral stance on all things, whereas Evandir is typically seen as a good god. Maheen is one of the lesser gods that the Draken Empire upholds as one that has dominion over a little bit more of the physical realm. The other child is spoken only of as the disgraced one. The name is struck from the records. Legend has it that this child attempted to slay Evandir and take his place, but was unsuccessful, and from that was killed himself, and his soul was bound. I don't know, to wherever gods are bound to. The text doesn't get very specific on this, as this child is viewed as kind of the worst of the worst. It would be the equivalent of a swear or a curse. It's this child is viewed with such hostility amongst the religious community that there is no text on it because nobody wants to talk about this child. You get the impression through your research that Evandir has at several times called different people to his specifically called them to his fold. He'll direct them on different tasks. There are several religious icons that have done various things for the Draken Empire, some during the war 700 years ago, others during more recent times. The current high priest of Evandir, it is said to be one of these people that Evandir has specifically called to him. Give me a religion check, if you would.
Oh boy. I am great at these, guys.
Wow. That was great, Phil.
Not only am I great at these, I also roll well.
You are unfortunately unable to find anything on who Jonathan serves. There
But
isn't
like
any.
maybe advantage for being an acolyte? Maybe a little bit of advantage. Just a smidgen.
Unfortunately, the records don't keep track of names of divas. As you end up delving into it a little bit more, diva's name changes based solely off of who they're dealing with. Their position has them as right hand of a god, and that is what they go by. They don't so much. They use names more to converse with mortals.
Also, the thing is like, because names give power over outerworldly entities, like you go to read a name and it's just like, and thus, why can't I understand what that's written as? Did the thing that made the people. There's an otherworldly power that would protect the names of divas. So even if you tried to write it down, it would just come up as gobbledygook. Why is this written in Wingding? I don't get it.
Especially when you roll a nat 1 on religion.
Guys, I've rolled 4 times today and gotten 2 nat 1s.
Good job.
I'm proud of you. You are really you're making me proud, man.
You do see that a lot of the religious iconography that you have on you, your holy symbol, some of the prayer beads and that sort of thing, are very reminiscent of Ivandir's iconography. It is very similar, but not quite. There's always something on your holy symbol that isn't quite right to the image of Evandir.
Oh shit, guys!
You haven't been able to
the disgraced one.
You haven't been able to figure out exactly whose it is because it's not Maheen's, and there's no religious iconography for the disgraced one. But it's there nonetheless.
Great.
Good enough. Alright, that's all I needed.
Did I miss anybody on anything?
Let's go find
Oh,
some
well,
magic shit, y'all.
I was
No,
also
no. I'm about to buy an inn.
Oh, okay.
I was also researching demons and how to kill them, but
That is a conversation that you determine you'll need to have with the Order.
okay.
They will have much more information on that, as normal people don't go searching for demons and how to kill them.
Cool.
So, Andrew, as all of this is going on over the next couple of days, at some point, you go and have a conversation with Timber.
Oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to start this conversation? Because I want to RP this, because you got to convince somebody to sell their inn.
Their livelihood.
Good evening, Timber, and how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
And how's business?
It's all right. I can't say. I mean, you're a lot. You're the only travelers I've had for a while, but I can't say it's doing too bad. Most of the folk here are regulars.
I see. And how long have you had this business?
Oh, it's been in my possession for quite some time now. Oof. I'd say the last 6 or 7 decades.
It must be stressful running an inn.
Not really.
No?
Nah.
Well, good.
I have Bob over there to help out when I need it, and otherwise, like I said, most of the people here are regulars, so we don't get into too much trouble.
Is there a Mr. Timber?
I'm sorry, is there a what?
A Mr. Timber?
Ah, not for some time.
Sorry, the woman out. I'm so very sorry to hear that.
Ah, don't be. He was a good man, but he passed away some time ago, and it's been some time.
So, what would you say are the most lucrative businesses in this town?
Most lucrative is the mine. But you're talking like personal businesses? Well, then obviously the whorehouses.
I see. And why do you not turn this establishment into such a place?
I don't know, haven't given it a whole lot of thought, really. It's it's quite an endeavor, because first you got to find, the people who will be your whores, then you got to take care of them, and then you got to hire guards to make sure that, like, nobody mistreats them, and then you got to deal with all the pompous nobility who think they could just walk in here and get shit for free, and, like, fuck them, but not literally, because, like, they're not gonna get it for free. But it just always seemed like a hassle. Why? Did you want one? I could probably hook you up with somebody.
Is she pretty?
Who? Timber?
Timber?
In a sense, yeah. She's got or she looks the equivalent of like a mid 40s female.
Okay, but she's not like ugly. She's not gonna if I try to be like, well, don't worry, I have all the eye candy I need right here. She's not gonna be like scoffing at it, right? Feel like offended.
She's not gonna be offended, no.
Yeah. Well, then I say that then.
Nice.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
I wonder, are you considering a partner?
A partner? No?
Well,
Wait. You see her think for a second. Are we still talking about sex?
sorry. I changed subjects very quickly. Although that is certainly not off the table. It could be on the table.
It's off the table.
Perhaps if you had an investor, a partner, we could expand this operation and include a whorehouse. I could provide the protection and try to rustle up some growth. You handle day-to-day operation, and I get a cut when I come to town.
She kind of looks you over for a heartbeat before. What all due respect there, you hardly look like you have the amount of coin that would be needed to start such an operation.
Sure I do. I changed into my fine clothes.
Oh, did you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This is like the day after we went shopping.
In which case she responds and, well, look, you seem well off, but that's going to require quite a bit of capital.
Well, how much are you thinking?
5,001 gold.
My
we would
thought
need
is that
to. I would need to expand the inn. So purchasing one of the buildings nearby, that's going to run you a few hundred gold. And then after that, we've got to get permits and bribes from the local officials. So that will cost probably another few hundred gold. Wages for the whores, depending on how many we can acquire, we're going to be somewhere in the
sweetheart.
range of 100 gold or so.
No. The whores, they will be independent contractors. They will pay us rent for the room to be used, you see. That way...
See, the Draken Empire put that sort of practice away quite a bit of time ago. While they may be independent contractors, we still have to provide some measure of safety and security for them.
Of course, but not a wage.
If we provide no wage, then we must ensure that the building layout is such that every single whore is visible and seen from every single angle in the room, because then everything must be fair. Trust me, this all was quite a hullabaloo some 80 so years ago. Some pompous priest of Evander claimed it was justice, and fuck him.
Fair enough.
So, like, we would supply some small wage and then have them be independently contracted. Because there was no minimum wage we could give them. I would say you're looking in the realm of somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 gold for startup costs.
Well, that can be arranged. But I have to ask. I think because I will be providing so much capital, it should be split 60-40.
You're telling me you have the capital to supply?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Roll a persuasion check, because she just does not believe you.
I'm not really trying to persuade right now, so I guess that makes sense.
Right. Listen here, dear. If I believed everybody that came into my establishment claiming they had money, I would have nothing left here.
This apprehension, it makes sense. This is not the sort of place you'd expect a wealthy person to go. But you see, my friends and I like to stay incognito. We do not like to gather too much attention. This is why I offered you a partnership and not offer an outright purchase of your inn.
Well, I appreciate that. But let's say I did entertain this offer. It would be 60-40, 60 my way, yes?
No. Your income will most certainly at least triple if we were to engage in this endeavor, and I must be recompensated for my costs moving forward. Perhaps the 60-40 would lean my direction for the first 2 years, and then we would reverse the direction.
Or perhaps we have a 60-40 arrangement in terms of property ownership. With you having supplied a substantial amount of capital, your payout is higher for the first 2 years.
I look at it this way. We would have 2 buildings, yes?
I mean, Yes.
You would not be able to afford the second building without me, yes?
Not true. But I've had no reason to purchase the second building, so I haven't.
Oh, come on, Jonah. It's four
She has been
rooms for
collecting
4
money.
nights is like 10 gold.
She's been collecting money for 70 years.
So what you're
Like-
saying is murder Timber, take all our money. Got it.
She has money. She
She has
doesn't
business.
have nearly enough to start a business. And she might be bluffing you.
Oh, sweetheart. Do not fuck with me.
See, that is not a relationship that you should have with someone you're claiming to be a partner.
We've
And
not
might
yet
I
signed the
remind you, you are
documents.
currently in my establishment. And while she is saying this, you get the very clear impression she's talking big, but has already started leaning towards sliding off her chair and running.
Listen. What I mean to say to you is not that I wish to do you harm, but only that, similarly, that you would like a partner to be courteous to you, I would like a partner to be open and honest with me. This could be a symbiotic relationship, good for both of us. And I do not mean to scare you, my dear. I mean to express to you just how effective my and my colleagues' protection would be. Did you hear about the ongoings in Cheshire a few weeks ago?
I heard some hullabaloo over there.
I'm sure that you did.
Something about the werewolf outbreak, I believe?
Yes.
Are you telling me you had something to do with an outbreak of werewolves?
Well, of course not. But I suppose that would overshadow the complete destruction of the organized crime syndicate and the most lucrative in the town.
I have heard nothing of a crime syndicate being destroyed.
That is unfortunate. I will really have to talk to Paige about this. Anyway, getting back to the matter at hand. I propose 50-50 split in property ownership, 60-40 income split for the first 2 years, whereupon it will change to 60-40 in your direction, considering that you will be doing all the management during said time.
I will maintain the right to sell this property to you at any time for the market value. Should I decide that I don't want to be here anymore?
Yes, I will receive first right of refusal for the sale of the property.
And should you refuse, I will be free to sell it to anybody else?
Well, yes, it would be your property. What I mean by first right of refusal, of course, is that you offer it to me first.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Just making sure we're on the same page.
I think we could potentially come into an agreement here.
Okay. Do you know where I can steal some horse?
Steal some horse?
Oh, yes, I find that experienced horse are much better at this sort of work.
It means
How about I
Persuade.
steal some horse, as I probably know a few more people than you. And you
Okay.
work on drawing up some papers.
I suppose that it does make more sense to do this without garnering attention to ourselves. Oh,
With
one
all
last
due
for these,
respect,
though.
while your aggressiveness is useful in a business environment as well as protecting horse, you probably will do a shit job of convincing any to join us.
Oh, I can be very convincing if I want to. Plus, I really should bring the old man with me when I want someone to be charmed. Anyway,
I will
Yes,
draw up some
this is what-
papers. I will bring them to your room later tonight. We can see about this.
oh, one last proviso. I would like to add another set of floors to the inn so that my companions and I are able to stay here when we are in town.
That will
Which I assume would
probably
be another
have-
500 gold or so.
It would probably be a few hundred gold because you're most likely going to have to refurbish this inn to support any more weight on it.
Oh, perhaps we put another set of floors on the new building.
The new
Whichever-
building would work better,
Whichever one will work well.
as we'll have to refurbish that one anyways. It would be wrapped up in the cost there.
That makes sense.
Very well. I will draw up some papers. I'll come by your room later. We'll see about it. If you are in agreement, we'll make sure you have the money, and then we will get this bargain started.
Sounds good, my dear. Right, go to shake her hand.
She shakes yours as well, and for a brief moment, you feel that her hands got a little sweaty, and she was genuinely intimidated by you a moment ago. But she seems more agreeable now.
Okie dokie. Hey guys, guess what? We're gonna buy a whorehouse.
Cool.
Good enough.
Or you mean we're developing a whorehouse?
Yeah, we're developing a whorehouse.
It will take a bit for the house to be built.
What?
But in the meantime, we're
You mean
probably
we
staying
can't
here
start-
for free.
We can't start profiting off of the horse tomorrow already.
Unfortunately, no.
What if we set up tents, right? And then temporary operation.
Or what's the spell? Some magnificent mansion or something bards get?
Oh yeah. What is his name?
That's
I don't know.
him, I think.
They get something. I was looking at bard spells the other day. But no. Alright, so
Good news, everyone. We're pimps.
later that evening, she does draw you up a contract, which basically gives you each have 50% ownership, but you each retain the right to sell your half at any time, but you must offer it to the other party first. And the price offered to the other party is at whatever the market value is. So, like an outside appraiser would come in and give up cost, right? You would get 60% of the profits from both the inn and the whorehouse for the first 2 years, trading it back over. The estimated startup cost is roughly 3,000 gold.
Okay, sounds good. And I suppose we walk to the bank together to get the thing notarized, the contract notarized, and then we transfer the money over to her account. I guess probably start her account and transfer the money over.
Yeah, you probably want to start a
we
business
put it in
account.
Yeah,
a
we put
joint
it in
account.
a business trust. Yeah.
Yep. That
God, real life simulator.
real life simulator. The process of that takes the next couple of days as you guys have to set up, your business account, which you both have your own little blood identification for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wheeling and dealing during the day, and I'm studying runestones and translating books with Paige at night.
A regular business student.
There is
For real.
there's a
Who
lot
knew
of
we were
interest from the various people that frequent the inn for it suddenly becoming a whorehouse. Yeah, Mordenkainens. Mordenkainens? I don't know how you say
We're
that.
gonna need Roderick to make good. Well, we need to have people make good relationships with the whores, so we can start having them spread rumors for us whenever we want.
I
Yeah.
like how you just singled out Roderick.
Well, it's because he's
Isn't
pretty
he the guy
and human.
who called the Empire degenerates for allowing prostitution?
That,
I think that
is
happened.
correct.
Well, you've become what you hate. You either die a
Listen.
hero or see long and
Well,
live long enough to see
technically-
yourself become a pimp.
I mean, technically, No-High is the one who owns the thing.
I mean, if I treat them really well and give them, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna hoe with them.
Well, maybe you talk with some of the whores and they express to you, no, this is actually a very empowering thing. You know, like it's a natural resource we have. We utilize the market to uplift our station in society. It's actually a great way of empowering humans.
Actually, they try to convince Roderick that he needs to join the stable.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There's
So pretty.
So yeah, that starts getting set up within the next couple of days. Nearing the fourth day there's a construction crew out near the building in the back. That property has been purchased under both your names, with the different I don't know, foremans or I don't know who to praise a building, looking at it to figure out where it needs structural support, what needs to be fixed about it before they can add another layer.
Oh.
And
I also needed a lock, Jonas. Sorry.
a lock.
Yeah.
Okay.
For my chest.
That'll run you like 3 silver.
Okay.
I can help with your chest.
Which, by the way, Roderick, all your holy symbols, that'll run you about 2 gold.
2 gold apiece?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
2 gold total. Sorry.
2 gold total for like 30 of them?
I'm assuming these are very simply made. Out
Yeah,
of
like,
iron
they're probably gonna,
or...
yeah, they're probably like pig iron, just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
If they're very simply made, then they basically give you an intern or an apprentice, and he just kind of works on those for the next couple of days. So they're not the best craftsmanship ever, but they're cheap.
Okay, the symbol is like a fist, kind of like, you know, like the communist fist, like up in the air, with like 2 swords crossed behind it.
Alrighty. A violent
Nice.
symbol.
And
that might impede your ability to gain followers.
Are
and
you sure his racist tendency wouldn't just like impede the ability?
hey man, the
But
oppressed are
you've let
desperate.
him collect some followers already in various towns, so I don't want to
No,
hear
he's
it.
planted some seeds. They're not quite followers.
You
That's
guys
why I
have
need-
Sorry.
That's why I need to draft up a Bible and have symbols, man.
You guys all have a signal whistle, by the way.
A signal whistle?
Yeah.
What the hell is a signal whistle?
So whistle with which you signal somebody?
It is a rape whistle.
Gotcha.
High pitch.
Yeah, it's basically a rape whistle. We also have 2 tents. We don't have to sleep on the fucking ground anymore.
Man, we're really moving up in the world, huh?
For real.
I feel like Isaac would be, personally insulted about the tents because his dirt spell is just amazing.
Well, it is amazing.
I mean, he can
uses it
still,
to level the ground. for the
build a
tents.
wall of dirt around
Let me
the
tell
tent.
you, Isaac ain't giving up that dirt spell anytime soon.
I really don't, I'm not going to lie, guys. I really don't remember what was agreed upon for us all to purchase for everybody because...
Oh, I have that list. Unless she told you she gave it to you already.
What? I don't know.
I assume Noha is just holding on to everything. She's the party bank at this point, so...
Well, we have a chest. We have a floor of rooms that we're using for now.
Can we go find a
We have
bag of holding?
carriage.
How much funds
Hold
do
on.
you guys have left?
We only have 1,000 gold left. Let's not get crazy.
Bag of holding shouldn't be too expensive.
I thought he meant find, go on an adventure and murder some things.
Oh, yeah, probably. But real quick there,
Bag of holding is uncommon.
was Paige able to fence that pearl?
Oh yeah, the pearl. Yes. So the large black pearl that he was able to fence for 500 gold.
Cool.
Hey.
And then the other item that you've been studying, it's not a rune stone, it's a moon stone. It's worth about 50 gold.
What does it do?
It doesn't have any inherent properties to itself. There are some
Looks
reports.
like the moon.
Yeah, it gives off a faint white, pale blue glow. There are reports that it can be used in the creation of magical items for additional effects, but there's nothing like firmly corroborating that.
But may or may not be a magical ingredient.
May or may not be. Nobody's super familiar with it.
So I think that how it's Timbers Ales, I think the whorehouse should be called Timbers Tilly. No?
Timbers Tilly? I didn't hear you.
No,
Sorry.
no
Yeah,
highs notch.
Timbers Tilly.
Or niche. No highs niche.
One that puts her name right on it. She can't be incognito.
Yeah.
That's true.
Timbers Tits?
Are you
Timbers
only
titties.
selling tits? Is that what this is? Racist.
We are not selling
But-
my tits. We are selling my ale, so that is why this is Timbers Ale House.
Timbers Tarts?
Now you sound like a bakery.
I like
It's
it.
perfect.
Let's do it.
I like it. I like it.
Timbers Tarts.
Okay, so have we done all the things we wanted to do in the first few days of being invested?
Have you? Have I not done anything with anybody?
I just want to bless those holy symbols when they're done.
You can bless them. You give them a loon's blessing, and they become legitimate holy symbols.
Sweet.
I have a silver longsword now, I guess. Right?
Yeah, you should all have silver weapons.
Silver to magic, or you're just a magical
Ephraim's,
person.
did you ever attune to the sword?
I probably did, yeah.
Nick, I
Ah.
did not hear what you said.
Find the sword. Forgot where it was.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
It said
Yes, I-
we either have magical weapons, silvered weapons, or are magic.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, do I have a silver longsword or a +1 longsword?
The silvered one, sorry. So you can fight werewolves and ghosts. Ooh,
3!
and boogans.
That was a short sword, right?
There's a Ephraim's thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic short sword, and we got it from the stabby shadow guy.
Yes.
The one that started the fight that we ended.
Much murder.
Yeah.
So can Paige have also found out if there are any like magic items that we can go quest for?
There you go, Ephraim's. Shared the item with you, the ethereal blade. So there are several contracts in the Thieves Guild. Most of them are for gold, but they are all thieving contracts, which you guys didn't express a lot of interest in. In searching for information and such, however, there is an open contract on the local wizard tower. And on looking into it a little bit more, it appears that the wizard tower shown on the map there in Veseth, the little clock tower-like building, has been abandoned and in some sort of magical disarray for some time. The wizard that used to live there was an illusionist and went insane recently, causing a lot of magical disruptions within that tower and has since been completely cordoned off. There's an open contract to basically purge the tower, clear it of any creatures, and shut down the arcane source, keeping all of the traps and various illusions up within
Does
the
this
center of
contract
the tower.
also specify what is to be done with said illusionist, or is he not there anymore?
The contract doesn't specify where the illusionist is.
Well, I
Further
guess what I'm saying is,
information,
if we encounter a crazy illusionist in the tower, are we under the impression we should kill him, or what?
the contract does say if you have further questions or wish to take it up, you would bring it up with the captain of the guard within the city. This is just information that Noah is able to find of the contract from the thieves while he's talking.
Page, you mean?
Sorry, Paige, yeah.
Whoever the fuck.
The contract is open in the sense that things you find within this tower, you're welcome to. That is the reward for this contract. There isn't a gold sum attached to anything. As if you are able to shut down the tower, what you find in there is yours for the keeping.
Would we be able to keep the tower?
Not the tower. The tower is still wanted by the government, which is why it's...
Dang it. Hey, Jonah, this is where we all screwed up, okay? We could have taken the tower, right? And then we own it. Then we call it the Scepter of God, and that's the whorehouse.
There may or may not be items that you like in a mage's tower.
I think we should go to the Mage's Tower.
Hey
God,
guys,
I think we should too.
I think we should.
Also, I need to be off
Jonah.
in like 30 minutes. So
Jonah hurries and buys Mage Tower.
Well, yeah, to be totally honest, I don't have any maps set up for the mage tower. So if you guys have any preparations you'd like to do for questing in one, or, I don't know, scouting it out, you're more than welcome to do that. But, like, I don't have maps for the interior yet.
I guess, do we need to roleplay my meeting the order?
If you'd like to do that, we can do that as well.
Or the kind of a thing we decided we wanted to do.
Okay. Paige, you're able to set up a meeting, and you guys meet late one night in some of the back alleys in the slum district. And while
Is
you're
this
out
just
that
me,
late,
or are there...
it's you and Paige that are just going. And on your way there, you do see various street gangs that come out later at night. And you can see sort of the rougher district that this town is in while people are out and about. Or sorry, when night falls. As you guys arrive at the chosen meeting place, you wait a few moments before a figure, heavily cloaked, approaches you. Gives the passphrase of a full moon shines bright, indicating that he is the one you guys were looking for.
Okay,
Pleased to meet you.
what was the counter phrase?
I
I assumed there was a counter phrase.
don't know, make up a counter phrase. I didn't think of one.
Something about Dark of Night, whatever. Cool. He
A
gives the
reflection of
counterphrase.
the sun.
Hey, that's a good one. Alright, let's make this quick. What can I do for you? Who are you?
I am from the Order of the Ghost Slayers, and my
You
friend, yes, and we need to find more information that only the Order would have here.
Oh. Do you have any proof that you're from this order?
I pull out my Amulet of Guidance, scribed with my order.
He looks it over. Well, this changes things. Come with me. We'll talk somewhere safer.
All right. May my companion join me?
Do you vouch for him?
Yes.
Fair enough. And he leads you guys back towards a safe house located a little bit deeper into the slums. It's a single room house, a small bed in the corner. Windows and doors are all heavily boarded, while the outside it looks old and decrepit. On the inside, it's fairly sturdy. Everything's built to keep sound from escaping, and looks like the building could withstand a hit or two. You guys enter, he throws some logs on the fire and himself down on a nearby stool. What can I do for the Order of the Ghost Slayer here in Veseth?
Well, excuse me. Couple things. First, we wanted to know, we encountered a lot of undead activity off to the, I guess that's the west, towards Revlin. And on the way here, we also encountered more undead activity. We wanted to kind of get a feel for the lay of the land. What kind of movement are you guys seeing around? Like, where are you seeing undead activity? Are you seeing demons or devils in any concentration in any areas in the surrounding countryside? That kind of thing.
Oh, well, undead and devils, they're very, very different. I would say for the most part, our order's presence here deals more with the mines and any creatures or abominations that come up from there. But I would say, I think we've seen a bit of a undead increase. But, you know, they say that there was an undead outbreak in Krendul, and while that may be taken care of now, undead disease spreads like the plague. So we could be seeing some backlash at that.
Are you seeing any concentration in any specific areas? We're on a. We feel like we need to follow this chain for our other quests that we have.
I can't say I can help you there. We haven't had a concentration of undead in the surrounding area. No, you know, there was a rather big one. Big undead creature not long ago. Wasn't a lot of them. I wouldn't call it a concentration. It was a little bit odd, though. It was this massive, like, thing, like, oh, a good 8 or 9 feet tall, broad shoulders, had some sort of weird tail grafted onto the back of it. But I thought it was an aberration, to be honest. But the way it responded to damage and the way it carried itself conveyed more of an undead sense to it, you know?
Yeah.
Not demonic then.
No, not demonic. I didn't get. Why did demons come into this? I thought we were talking about devils.
There may be some of both. We don't. We're asking questions because we don't know what's out here.
Oh, and if you're just asking questions in general, the worst we deal with is some aberrations in the mines. That undead was a strange fluke, if anything.
Where did you find it? Was it from mines or was it from elsewhere?
Oh, the undead? Yes, it was from the mines.
Do aberrations often come from the mines, and why?
The aberrations, I tend to see a good number of them. I assume they are either crawling their way up from the Underdark in some dank cavern. Oftentimes, you know, the miners open up cavern ways or cave systems, and who knows where those lead. They haven't fully explored them all. But the undead, I think, was just buried somewhere. They broke through, found it, unfortunately. You know, a sad thing about undead is they don't ever really go away, even if you bury them, so...
Good. Interesting. I did have another question to you, slightly off topic. On the way to try and... Like, when I first came here, I tried to ask around and figure out how I might find the order here. And a lot of the locals expressed a lot of distrust. Got this vibe that you guys weren't as well liked here. Why is that?
Well, it's a combination of things. Most of which is we are of the Order of the Lycan, and that doesn't really bode well with locals anywhere. So
that would do it, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't put us in the noble's good grace. Might have been okay with the people, except there was an incident where one of the younger members in our order lost himself. We had to put him down some time ago. But ever since then, our reputation has been pretty severely damaged.
Understood. Paige, am I forgetting anything that we might want to ask around?
Yes. Do you have any knowledge when it comes to fighting demons?
Again with the demons, what's going on here?
We may or may not be having to fight some demons.
See, I've heard rumors of the demonic invasion, but I was under the impression they were just that, rumors. Are they not?
They are most certainly not. They are...
And the Order of the Ghost Slayer is heavily invested in this. Why have they not communicated it to the others?
That I don't know. I have not been in strong contact with the rest of my order for some time. Haven't been able to locate them.
That does not bode well. To answer your question, though, my tabaxi friend, as far as I'm aware, demons are of some of the more powerful creatures in existence. Contrary to popular belief, radiant light does not necessarily harm them. In fact, for many of them, it's just the same as regular magic damage. Many of them are resistant or have some sort of innate ability to resist magic. And they tend to be the more chaotic. So if you can make a deal with the devil, and as long as you're careful, you will be okay. If you make a deal with a demon, he might betray you because it's a Tuesday. There's no logic, there's no rhyme or reason to any of them. So they don't die easily, to answer your question. Are you looking for something specific? Do you have a specific demon in mind?
Well, right now, since we're very strongly of the opinion that we're going to have to deal with at least one, if not more, at some point, we are trying to find out how best to fight them and how to prepare for this.
I see. Well, I would procure holy water, something to alleviate curses. Potentially, you would want to get any sorts of magical weapons that you can, because most of the time, regular physical weapons do not seem to do nearly as much damage to them as they should. And then once you are fully prepared, I would run. I would just get the fuck out.
How encouraging.
Like, you should just not worry about that.
Well, that most certainly would be the wiser of two options if there were two options.
There is always two options. You can fight or you can run.
Not always.
I do have a thought. Are there any, in the surrounding countryside, are there any places that darkness we seek hasn't been purged yet, that we might be able to seek further lore or answers or magic?
Oh, and the surrounding countryside? I would say your best bet is far, far down beneath the mines. Just as that is the source of most of our issues here. If you travel a good few days out over to the south there, Along the riverbank, there used to be an area of darkness. One of our order purged it not too long ago, but we haven't gone back to check. There's a bunch of, spider webs, that sort of thing. The forest turning dark and gray. He said he found a cult leading some sort of heathenistic worship there.
Worshipping the spiders or something else?
Uh, Truth be told, he is not one of our smartest people, so he didn't really look.
Oh, that's good.
Frankly, they were dealt with, so we didn't consider looking into it further. You could always look there if you're looking for a fight.
Do you know of any magical items?
A few of the shops might have a couple. Otherwise, our mutual friends could probably procure some for you for a cost.
But you're not aware of any, say, legends?
I think what my friend here is thinking, if we are not currently able to provide funds to cover such things here in town, where might we look for magic items?
And here you see his eyes kind of glaze over as he's trying to think of something. He's just like, I am not too familiar with the adventuring lifestyle. I've spent most of my time here in the city dealing with things out in the mines. I hear there's some sort of contract for the magic person's tower.
Yeah, we heard about that, but we wanted to make sure. We wanted to find out if there were other options as well.
If you're looking for like ancient ruins or some such thing, they uncover the occasional architecture in the mines, but that's pretty quickly confiscated by the government, so I'm afraid I can't help you much there.
All right.
Do you know anything about the Wizard's Tower?
The Wizard's Tower. That's a strange circumstance. So, a few, I'd say probably a year ago now, the original council mage, or mage to the governor here, went insane. He's some illusion specialist and started raving about how reality wasn't real and existence was tied up to our own thoughts, and it was quite a spectacle. Everybody got like a pamphlet in their hands suddenly, and just it was something else. But he went insane and threw his entire tower into a war mode stance. There's a couple of defenses the city has in the case of a war. The tower's currently activated for one. And then he sort of disappeared, so nobody really knows where he went. We had a new mage come through, but he seems to be more or less powerless against whatever defenses this tower has set up. So I don't know much about the interior, as I don't go there, because mages don't really like us. But as far as I hear of rumors, the interior of this tower is much larger than it seems. Rooms fold in and out of existence, and reality as you know it may not work.
Solid. What I'm hearing is pack rations for many weeks.
Yeah, it would not be a bad idea. I don't know how big it is in there. I heard rumors that it's massive. I've heard rumors that if you set foot in there, you shrink. I don't fucking know. There's a lot of rumors when it comes to mages.
Great. Well, I
That's
think that's all the questions I had for now.
excellent. I have
Well-
questions for myself. First of all,
Right.
have you talked to the Order of the Ghost Slayer about the demons?
Haven't been able to contact them, as I said, since encountering them.
But they are, to your knowledge, unaware of the demon presence.
The one I'm looking at, yes.
Okay. I will attempt to reach out on my end. Secondly, you mentioned running into undead on your way here? Clusters of them? Where?
Out of character, Jonah. That was like a half day towards a bunch of rocks along the main road. I don't know.
Yes.
Sure, I tell him that.
Okay. I will send a few of ours out to check the surrounding area. Did you meet any demons along the way? Should we be on the lookout for some sort of incursion?
We don't know what I don't know what the thing was that we encountered, but it was very powerful and had access to enchantment spells.
Very powerful in the spellcaster. Doesn't sound like an undead. It wasn't, well, was it skeletal?
No, but there was a lot of flesh hanging off of it in a very unhealthy manner. Very large, very strong.
Was it intelligent?
Yes, it spoke.
Also,
But
it teleported.
it teleported.
I could not track them after they left the vicinity.
After they left. Tell me of this encounter. What exactly happened?
Out of character, Jonah, how would I describe the wall of whatever that we hit? We just walk and then all of a sudden we're paralyzed?
Well, there was a blinding light.
Was there? I don't remember blinding light.
I'm pretty sure it was a swirl of colors,
Oh,
as
something
in
like that.
hypnotic pattern.
Okay, cool. Well, we encountered all of us at the same time, felt this sensation. We saw swirling colors, and then we were all paralyzed on the ground. And out of the mist that had come were undead, and then this giant creature. We weren't very clear on what the giant creature was looking for, or furthermore, why we weren't dead, as we were relatively helpless.
That was going to be my next question, yes.
Creature was asking one of my companions about what it wanted most in life, and decided to torture one of our other companions, and then kill said companion, and then take her corpse. My friend might be inclined to go after it because he thinks he has some questions about whether this creature might have taken her soul, or there's all kinds of things going on. Creature killed our companion and then laughed at us and told us that we had a choice to make. We would either serve them or we would die. And then they all faded.
My condolences for your loss. He's rolling an insight against you because he doesn't quite believe your story because you're still alive.
What am I doing?
For the most part, it is your story's true. Roll me a deception check for that last bit about serve or die. DC is considerably lower because you're speaking the truth for the most part. You see his eyes get a little narrower, and his hands kind of thumbing his medallion on him. You see a brief flash before his eyes. Well, you are not undead, so that's good.
I agree, frankly.
I do not believe you are telling me everything, but I still have further questions, so maybe this will elaborate. Your friend, how did she die? Such things are very important when we talk about souls.
Okay, out of character, Jonah. I mean, would I know what was cast?
As far as you are aware, the creature told her to die, and she did.
Okay, I tell this gentleman that.
You see his face flash with a mixture of confusion and then sudden realization, and then fear as he starts putting things together. And evidently you think this is not an undead?
I'm inclined to think that it might be much more than that.
I am inclined to think so as well. And it only asked for your servitude. It did not kill you after you said no?
Well, we've been given a time limit. Given a month, show up at a designated place and serve, or die.
Beings such as this do not ask for servitude and then wait patiently. Are you going to tell me what is actually happening?
Remember, a friend of ours was, had struck a deal with them, but had decided, that it was not, a wise decision to continue with the deal, so she backed out. And, well,
We
now
elected to help her break free.
now they want revenge.
Your friend is a fool.
That may be true.
As near as I can tell, there are a select few beings who can possess the power to kill on demand by simply commanding it. These beings are incredibly powerful, very intelligent, and very strong. If you have attracted the attention and ire of one of these creatures, I would ask that you adhere to the Order's code and refrain from making contact with us anymore. You will most likely be dead.
It.
That being said, because you are currently here, I will help you as best I can tonight.
Bunch of pussies.
And if you have any final wishes you'd like me to convey to another person, you should leave those with me here.
Well, I don't have any family left to convey such things to, other than those I travel with, so need on the final wishes. Knowing that this is what I am up against, knowing why we seek magic items, is there anything else you think of that might be worth looking into?
I will do some research and I will leave an item. Where are you staying?
At Timber's Ales.
Timberzale. I will leave an item with the caretaker there that may help you, as well as any information I can find. You are dealing with some form of demon. Do you happen to know the name of this demon?
Jeez. Guys,
No.
do we know?
No, we don't.
Do you know who your friend made a pact with?
Orcus?
I
Fuck. She made a pact with Orcus.
I like how liberally our NPCs use the word fuck.
Well, regardless on if you show up at the allotted time, at the location he determined, or not, he will probably find you. unless you can determine how it was that he found you originally, I would bet that he can still teleport to you. In the case of your friend, he most likely has her soul. A death by that
I did
means
say
with
running's not always an option.
that level of power, well, running is most of the time an option when you're not dealing with fucking generals of Orcus. Your friend is most likely, her soul is most likely in the possession of this demon. To get it back, you would either have to slay the demon, find out where he's keeping the soul, and perform any sort of rite or final rite or any sort of thing that she would personally find as fitting for a passing, and thereby free her soul to go to the afterlife. Or you would have to make another deal with another sort of entity that would guarantee that soul gets freed. But I do not recommend that, as then you would only have two different entities attacking you.
Good to know. Thank you for your time.
And for yours, I truly hope we will meet again another day, but I severely doubt it.
Bjorn stands up as if to go and looks to Paige, wants something else, or if he's ready to go.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Out of character, guys, I do need to go.
I didn't catch what you said. You broke up?
I'm sorry.
He
Out
said
of
he does
character,
have to
I
go.
do need to leave.
Oh, okay. All right. Did anybody else have any other information they wanted to get that we could go through before next session?
User disconnected from your channel.
Turns out everybody else is dead.
Yep, demon showed up, murders all.
No, I
good.
mean, I got the information I wanted.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys think of something else, let me know during the week. But we can pick up next week with probably a magic tower dungeon crawl. Which I hope you guys are all. That all sounds like fun. That was something I just had to make up on the spot because I wasn't expecting one. But yeah, good times.
Yeah. Hopefully, if you find
I'm
some
hoping
sites
that,
that's great.
I hope that Paige and Bjorn relate to Ephraim's information that they got.
I would assume they would. Paige, can you corroborate on that?
Sorry, what?
I assume you tell Bjorn the information you received from the order guy?
Ephraim's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the other way around.
And maybe at some point we should balance out our magic items. Because, like, I have a periaptive wound closure, which I don't really need.
You asked for that.
No, I didn't ask for that.
Yeah, you did.
I just said asked for something that would aid me in my fight.
Oh, that's right. And I gave you the thing to keep you from going down.
Yep. And it doesn't actually keep you from going down, it just stabilizes you when you're down.
It doesn't bring you back up?
Not a periaptive wound closure.
I don't think that's what I
do
meant to
think
give you
there's
then.
a thing that, like, instead of going down, you get a HP. But
Okay.
I thought there was one that brought you to 1 HP.
Yeah, that's different.
I don't know what that's
The
called.
Amulet of Health, I think. No, that's different.